Welcome to the What's the BPM Podcast, Uncle Doug's.
Welcome, mate. Thank you for having me.
Oh, mate, like we've been having a pretty good chat off air, but like I'm such a huge fan of your YouTube channel. Well, yours and Wiggo's, really. But
Yeah, basically, it's Sarah's YouTube channel
yeah.
that I'm the star of, but we all know the wife is the star.
Oh yeah, it's so good, man. That's how I'd heard of you. Like I like to think of myself as a bit of a like historian. I'd heard of Uncle Doug's. I didn't know too much about you, and then just one Sunday afternoon, I was flicking through YouTube and I saw a defected vlog pop up.
The
And I,
IB for one.
yeah, and I watched that,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Oh, Uncle Doug's. I've heard of this guy." And then I started watching it, and then I was like, "Man, this guy's like the dance music Mashtag." No,
What?
with the
Can I just stop you there? Mashtag is my favourite of all of the fucking vloggers.
really, oh,
Yeah,
wicked,
man.
yeah,
You know Mashtag? Is that who you mean? Mashtag Brady?
yeah,
Mashtag.
Mashtag Brady. I'm a huge
Bro,
fan.
I
Yeah,
fucking see how you watch mine and you say I watch yours. Everything that he drops every day, he says to me, "Is there a hashtag? Is there a hashtag?"
yeah,
Every day. I can't
yeah.
believe you said that. It's
Oh
fucking made
man,
my day.
that's
He's
yeah.
just fucking general, man. Big up hashtag just in case this finds you. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Oh,
Oh,
it's like, look at that
he's
smile.
just awesome, isn't he? Isn't he? Just so
Yeah,
good.
he's fucking done, man.
Discovered him on in the Thailand series. Jeez, that was good,
Me
eh?
too.
Every day, just banging him out, getting blind, spewing everywhere. So
Bro,
good, eh?
he's good at throwing up. If anyone, if
Oh,
there was a world champion at throwing up in mad awkward places, he's the guy. But yeah, I
yeah,
found him
man.
through the Thailand things as well. And I haven't missed an episode since. I absolutely. Do you know what I love about him? You can watch an episode and say he's mental and all that, but when you get to understand a little bit more about what makes him tick, he's got a big heart. He's a genuine guy with a big heart. He's very likable,
Yeah,
and you forget it takes a lot to just fuck off out with a camera on your own, not just to dangerous places, just anywhere and live on your own because you know that's what you're doing a lot of the time. We're seeing him on a camera with his GoPro, but doing that on your own and traveling, there's a lot of lonely times, there's a lot of down times, there's a lot of fucking hardship that comes
yeah,
with. And you can say, oh, he's earning good money and that, but he wasn't. You know, he's built up to it and he deserves every penny.
yeah.
And yeah, I rate him. Like I say, he's my favourite of all of the things on YouTube. I'm just so glad you fucking get it
Same
as well.
here. Oh,
Yeah.
mate, I love Mashtag. So do heaps of people that I know too. So he's popular all over the world.
Yeah. Right,
But
rightly so, because
yeah,
he's just a likable dude, just fucking worked hard. He's built his thing, and now he's getting to reap the rewards. But even that, when someone's so genuine, you want them to have all that and more. You know what I mean? I want him to have 2 million followers. I want him to get twice
yeah.
as much fucking sponsorship. So, yeah, I even watched Reggie. I mean, Reggie,
Same here. Yeah.
oh,
Reggie's in Brisbane at the moment.
he is in Brisbane at the
Yeah.
moment. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, Reggie, I don't want to be horrible to him because I love him, but he's not Mashtag. I love Reggie, but Mashtag, even in that, the reason I bring Reggie into it, and I watch him religiously like I do Mashtag, so I'm not taking anything away. But the reason I've mentioned him is because Mashtag goes around helping people. Was like he gave Reggie that platform. He
Yeah.
met the guy in New York and he gave him the platform. Buy his kids the camera, all them kind of things, mate. That's why I love him. It ain't just the wild stuff that's easy to, it's easy for us to watch and get into because he's fucking mental. He's got an homeless geezer in his car in fucking Hollywood or whatever. They're the bits that are easy for the reels for him to
Yeah.
make people draw
Yeah.
them in. But when you get into it, I love the fact that he's just a genuine dude and he's using his thing to help other people. Man, he's proper.
Yeah.
Big up
No,
hashtag.
yeah, mate. Yeah. I'm thinking of that helicopter where he's like, they've got that homeless guy in the helicopter and he's something
He's
shot
just
out the
shitting
window.
himself.
Crazy.
You know, I know he needs to be at home sometimes and have a real life, but when he's not on the fucking YouTube, I think, come on, bruv.
Yeah.
Like, when are you going to go back out and get back on holiday again so we can have our little 1 hour fix every night?
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
worry about your life, Mashtag. What about our 1 hour thing? Yeah, maybe I mean, do you want to talk about the Run Come Follow thing for a minute now? Because
Yeah. Well, that's where I
he
was
was a
going
big
with that.
part. he was a big part of it. I didn't, you know what it was? I didn't start doing the video diary vlog things because I wanted to turn it into this thing, monetize it, make money, go out and do loads of mad things for the camera. But a little bit was watching people like Mashtag, I'm not going to lie, that are normal, like me, just normal geezers, and they film what they do, and I enjoy watching it. So I was talking to Sarah, and I was like, I might just start filming my days out because I'm always getting into scrapes, you know, arguments and whatever along the way. And I watched some of them video diaries that are not as interesting and not as exciting as Mashtag, and I think, fucking hell, my life's mad, a bit mad. So the original plan was to just do it because I wanted to film me and Sarah and our friends, partly because I thought it might be interesting for people, but also I just thought it's a nice thing for us. Like my mum watches them. So
Yeah.
my mum, I speak to my mum all the time, and she's always saying, "What are you doing? What you been up to? You know, where have you been? Da da da." Now she watches the video diaries. My friends' relatives that are on the videos watch them. So it started off as a thing like it would be nice for our lot and the people that
Yeah.
listen to the show, the radio show that I do, they'll be interested in it. And it ain't like, you know, it ain't set the world on fire. I haven't got like 10 million fucking subscribers or anything, but it's grown into its own little thing out of nowhere. And I try to stress that I don't want it to be a thing where I've got to go and do stuff to make content. I've got to, you know, I'm stressing out because I haven't gone out this weekend. And, you know, like you watch them, so you know. So I might be at Tesco's, I might be seeing my dad at the home and fucking crying because my dad's not well. But then other times I'm with whoever. I'm fucking playing for Skepta last week at a clothes
Yeah.
show with all celebrities. So my life's up and down here and there anyway. So I don't feel I have to force it. And the beautiful thing that's come of it, I've gathered people like yourself that didn't necessarily know about me or the show or the radio show or any of the stuff that I've done. And YouTube has put me in touch with them, and I've had messages from people saying, like, I don't particularly like the music you play. I'm not into rave or jungle, but I really like you lot. All you and your mates, they're fucking really genuine. You have a good
Yeah.
fucking time. You seem like a decent bloke. Your wife seems fucking mad and lovely, and we love her as well. She's laughing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's just become this thing where now I don't know what I'm like. When I edited the first video, I've never edited a video in my life. Uh, it's like pirate radio TV. I don't have mics and people helping me. It's just me with my phone, fucking about with my mates, filming bits along the way. And, you know, I'm a pirate radio kid, and I guess I've got into pirate radio TV. So even now,
Yeah.
I'm 60 episodes in. I don't know what I'm doing. I open a computer, I do my little rough edits. Some of them look better than others. I try my hardest, but people have said to me, why don't you do this? And why, if you do that, it will make it look better and more polished. And I'm like, no, it's not what I
Nah.
am. I'm
It
not, I'm
looks
not
better
that.
when it's just cut, 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 cut. You try and make it
Yeah.
look too cinematic. It just,
Sometimes the wrong name pops up on someone where I've got a fucking, I forgot to delete a little bit of text and that. And I
yeah.
know that's not how you're meant to do stuff, but that's how I've always been. Like everything I've done in my life, from pirate radio through the events we run to the TV fucking stuff, I guess you could call it these days. It's all just been organic and never forced, and never. I didn't learn how to do it first, then did it. I just fucking kicked the door off and thought I'd have a go at that. And the YouTube stuff is the first stuff in years. Like I get to play at all these raves at festivals, and it's great. Don't I love it, and I'm so lucky, privileged, and blessed. But I've done it for so many years that I don't want to say you become complacent because you don't, but it's very hard to find excitement, and it's very hard to find things to learn within. Like if I go and play a set in a club this week, as much as I'll love it and I appreciate it, I'm not really learning a great deal from it. You know, I'm just meeting lovely people and waving and off I go again. But that, I feel like I started right at the bottom again. You know, I had no
Yeah.
subscribers, no followers, no one give a shit. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't even know how long it was going to last. I didn't know if I was going to do one, 10, and here we are. And it's took over my life, and I fucking love it. I go out now. I mean, look, I've met you through the video for
Yeah,
starters, so that's the first thing. But I go out now and people come up to me and they're shouting pelican at me or fucking
yeah,
whatever. They want to.
yeah,
Before I'd put the camera on people and they'd be a bit reluctant because they didn't know what I was doing. Now I've got people that, oh, bruv, I fucking love to be in one of your videos. And it's
yeah,
such a
yeah,
lovely buzz when they say nice things about not just me, and Sarah, like my friends or, my mum, because I try to get everyone in it because I've got this thing that I know it's pretty fucking morbid, but one day we're all going to be gone, right?
yeah, yeah,
And for all of the people that feature in that video along the way, some of us are in it loads, and some people just have little fleet. People like Barrington, for instance, DJ Barrington, he'll pop into it now and again, but he's in them sort of one in every 5 or 10. When we're all gone, all of our kids and relatives and friends, they've got something to just go back and watch. And when we're in our prime, having fun, laughing, fucking about,
yeah,
it's that as well. So it's almost like leaving a bit of a legacy, not just for the scene and the stuff that we get up to, but for all of us as individuals. We're all on it, and hopefully YouTube will last forever or wherever they end up, and it'll be a point of reference for people for years to come. So yeah, it's important for a load of different things, but I'm very, very mindful that I don't want to be like, some weeks I have a quiet week and I don't want to be like, right, what can I do? I need to
yeah.
go and do some
Just to
stuff to.
film stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, like sometimes I'm at places. I mean, you'll know I'm at places and I don't walk over to where all the action is because I can't be fucking asked. Now, your normal YouTuber would be like, we've got to go over to there.
yeah,
Sometimes I'm sitting down and I think, fuck that. I can't be bothered. So, am
mm.
I all right swearing, Steve? Sorry.
Yeah. You say what you
So
want.
I forgot to ask. Swearing away like a trooper.
No,
Yeah.
go for
So
it.
yeah, I just love doing it. It's given me a new lease of life in a completely different world. And, whether it becomes a thing where the world watches it or whether it doesn't, I just love doing it for selfish reasons for myself. But for people that care, like the people, it's become a little bit of a culty thing. Like again, I ain't got the most followers or viewers, but the people that watch it, like you said yourself, every Sunday when it pops up, you'll sit and watch it.
Yeah,
There's loads of people like you, and I get to go out there and meet them. It's took time to get there, but now when I go out, people say lovely things, and they look forward to them. Like we used to look forward to EastEnders or Coronation Street. This is the modern era of.
yeah, it
If I
is.
don't put one out, I get messages saying, "Bruv, where's your fucking vibe, mate? Come on, mate, we're
Yeah.
waiting for your thing." And it's a beautiful thing, Steve. It's a beautiful thing. I
But
I, I love
yeah,
it.
like I've gone, so I discovered you on that defected video, and then I went back through your channel and I was binging all of the like Rave diaries, the
Yeah. I've been a bit slack with them lately. Sorry, Steve. I've got
yeah,
two ready to go on the computer that we're talking on now.
oh,
So, and I've
looking
got
forward
about
to
100.
them.
Yeah, I'll show you quickly. Like, I've got on my phone. I've got about 160, I think. So, Rave Diaries ideas. I won't let you see them all, but look, I don't know if you can see that, but
Nah, it's
that's
a bit
just
bright.
scrolls and scrolls.
Oh
There's
shit.
about 160 still to come. So, sorry for being rubbish with them lately, mate.
Oh man, like, and I was listening to him, just thinking, like, hearing the stories of you, like ripping the aerials down and putting them up and checking for the police. It's just crazy, crazy
Yeah,
shit.
mate.
And that's the
Yeah.
one where there's a hole in the floor and shit's falling through
Yeah.
crazy, crazy,
Yeah, yeah.
crazy
So that
stuff.
that yeah, that studio there, that was in my home Dagenham. That was where I come from. That one, and yeah, that I won't. We won't go into what we was putting through the floor in the studio, but yeah, there was some
Fucking so funny.
paraphernalia from the reprobates that had the squat before us that we kicked out. Yeah, it's funny because like you start talking and like I'm forever making notes in my phone of just one line to remind me of a story because like you start talking to someone like yourself and other things pop off and
Pop
it's
into your head. Yeah.
it's just yeah it's just I didn't again even doing them like I didn't know if people would care. It's funny because it's a smaller audience that watch them videos than the run come follow things because I guess it's more nerds and anoraks like me and you that care about. But even them is them in themselves they've got their own following of people that actually really really love them. And you know what, Steve, it's weird, mate, because sometimes I sit there and I think like do people really give a fuck about what I'm talking about? You know what I mean? It's just my little
Yeah.
stories of my life, but I don't know if it's moments of self-doubt or what it is, but I look at the comments and I meet people out and it fucking it reinstalls in me that people do care. But it's a weird feeling, you know, you're sitting there telling a story about something that happened to you to a camera and people give a shit. It's a weird feeling that I've had to get used to doing, but I fucking love it, mate. I love it. I
Man,
love the
it's
scene and I love
yeah, it's
being
so
a
funny
part of
that
it.
like for the Aussie listeners, anorak just means like bit of a nerd sort of thing, eh? Like a train spotter. They wouldn't
That's
know
what
what
I'm
an
saying.
anorak means, but
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that's where I
Sorry,
think we're
guys. I forget
similar.
we're in
Like,
Australia for this.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. Like I was telling you before, I've had like loads of Thai boxing fights, and I like to think that I'm like pretty tough sort of dude, and I'm cool. But then it dawned on me a little while ago. I was like, man, you're just the fucking music nerd. Like I'm a train
You're a
spotter.
music nerd with a good kick, though.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just yeah, it's fun. But man, I just am so fascinated by the rave scene and just like how it sort of started from nothing and is now just like this massive thing worldwide. And to think that it kind of started, well, I mean, there's America and London, but like for you to be around that thing when it first started, that must have been amazing.
Yeah, so the actual rave thing, I'm slightly too I won't pretend that I was there in, 86, 87, 88, 89 because I'm 50 now, so I was 13 in 1988, and, if I'm gonna be completely honest, which I like to be, I knew nothing of I used to see it because obviously it was in our newspapers at the time, so rave culture, it started in, we could say 86, it was born through the Detroit scene and the Chicago house and the New York house scene of the mid 80s. And then you could say like the European influence, the German craft work and that kind of stuff had a huge influence. So there was this mishmash of stuff happening. And around about 86, 87, I guess you could say was the birth of house music in the UK. And then 88 was a big burst. 89, we had what we called the Summer of Love, where the big raves were taking place all around the outside of our M25, our London Orbital Road on the outskirts where there was more land. Big raves happening all around there. So you would meet someone at a point. You would listen to a pirate radio station, phone a number that they would give you. They would give you a meeting point. You would go to a meeting point, which would usually be a motorway service station, and then you'd follow in a transit to the destination, all turn up mob banded. That was a rave. So all that was going on. So that made our newspapers and our news because obviously there was a big concern about youth movement and drugs and the police couldn't contain it and all the stuff that come with it. So I would see this stuff, but I was into, I mean, all your Australian listeners are going to know these AC/DC. Like they was my favourite
Yeah.
band. And my older brother I come from my dad's side of the family is all musicians and musical, and my older brother is a guitarist and was always into like heavy rock. So, I loved that side. He was my first sort of inspiration, influence, my big brother. So I loved the Rolling Stones and AC/DC and all of that sort of stuff. Not too heavy, but rock music. Um, and I had friends at the time that were into the acid house movement in the UK and the rave stuff. And I would say to them, that's not fucking proper music. It's computer shit. You fucking need a guitar and a drums or something. So I would be that kid in school dismissing it and not understanding it. And then round about 1990 it was, there was a song called Radio Babylon by Meat Beat Manifesto. And it had a sample in it of Boney M, Babylon. Babylon. I don't know if you know that song, but
Yeah.
and I was at a friend of mine's house, and he was listening to pirate radio. It was Fantasy FM. I didn't know all this at the time. I've backtracked and worked out how this happened for me to find sort of rave music on my own journey. So DJ Hype was a DJ on Fantasy FM at the time, and he used to scratch, and he would scratch Radio Babylon, the intro bit. And I was at my friend's house. So while I'm taking a piss out of my friend saying this ain't real music, in my real mind, I was 15 years old at the time. I was thinking, mate, this fucking sounds different
Wicked.
and good. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, but I couldn't tell him that because I'd been
Yeah,
taking
yeah.
the piss out of me, mate, for the last year or two. So I went home and I found pirate radio stations on my mum's stereo, and I marked them off with a knife, which my mum and dad went fucking mental.
Yeah.
Like, I put little notches in the FM tuner, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they said, "What the fuck have you done to the stereo? Like, they're pirate stations. I don't care what they." So, and secretly, you know, unbeknown to my friends, I started listening to a bit of pirate radio, and I didn't get it. I didn't know any of the music. I didn't know how it worked. I just knew that it just sounded fucking real and raw and a little bit dangerous and
Yeah.
energetic, and it was unprofessional, but that was the charm and the beauty in it. So pirate radio was the first thing that sort of caught me. And then I had older cousins and their friends that went to raves and stuff already. So at the ripe old age of 16, I just turned 16. I was just about to leave school. I was on the verge of signing to be hopefully a professional footballer with Leighton Orient. I went to my first rave, rain dance in Jenkins Lane, just up the road from where I lived in Dagenham, Easter 1991, and I took an E, and I never played football again after that. I wanted to be DJ Slipmat. I just got bitten by this bug of euphoria and togetherness and beautifulness that I didn't know one song. I walked into that rave, I didn't know one tune all night. I had no idea who was playing. I knew fuck all. I didn't know about the drugs. I'd heard of ecstasy, but I didn't know what it was. All my mate, I mean, I was smoking puff at the time, and my friends at school were doing little acid tabs and stuff, but it never really interested me. But I took it on this night because all the older lot did, and mate, it fucking changed everything. It was like, how do you describe that moment? It's like black and white to color, or mono to stereo, or I don't even know. But whatever it was, the switch just switched that night, and it changed everything for me. And I was so lucky I didn't catch the first wave of rave in the UK, but what I did catch was 91 was like the rave explosion. So it was real, the last of the big field raves were happening, but they were legal by then. So you could go to a legal a tented event for 30,000, 20,000 people. You could go to big warehouse events for that many people. And I did go to a couple of the illegal ones because they were still happening, but on the whole, the police had kind of, and the authorities had sort of bottlenecked us into a place where if you want to do it, you need to do it legally. And
Yeah.
they did give us as ravers and the promoters the facilities and the spaces to do them. But obviously, it came with a price of Big Brother was watching us a little bit more, and
Yeah.
gradually, rave culture became almost like clubbing culture, because it did get slowly forced into the clubs. And then years later, festival culture come around, and now we're back doing what I did as a kid is now basically what is known as a festival.
Yeah.
We were going to festivals in the 90s and we didn't even fucking know it, because it was just two or three big tops in a field, some fairground rides, a burger van, Ribena in a carton and a water. That was a rave.
Yeah.
Now the same thing is a festival. So it's gone the full circle, but it's when I found it, mate, it was just a beautiful thing. Like, everyone was happy. I know it sounds cliche, but the ecstasy of the time, the drug choice of the time, I guess, was ecstasy, and everyone was cuddling and everyone was happy. And we all, whether you was a lawyer or a drug dealer or fucking jobless, where it be black, white, football hooligans, or all them stories that you've all heard, it was all true. And it was a beautiful thing to be a part of. I must admit, it was
Yeah.
like the local bullies in my area that I couldn't walk past for about 2 years of my life. The first rave I went to, I saw them at the rave, and I thought they were going to fucking beat me up. And they come and like, "Bugs, bruv, I didn't know you come to these raves, bruv. Come and stay. Do you want a drink?" It done that to the whole fucking nation, man. Like,
Yeah.
it just chilled everyone out a little bit. You know what I mean? And the music, obviously, which we're going to talk a lot about, accompanied the vibe. The music was being made by people that understood the culture, because they were the culture. So they made euphoric pianos, they made dirty bass, like all the things that you needed as a raver, they gave you, because the people making it and putting it on, they were standing next to you at the
Yeah.
next rave. We was all together as one. There was no elite system. At that time, there was no hierarchy of DJs. There was no superstars. The DJs weren't even fucking famous back then. They were on the road to becoming famous, but it was a beautiful thing that was out of control for the government and the powers that be. And luckily, through sheer fucking drive, the people that started this thing kept it going against all odds. For people like me to now be able to talk to people like yourself and whoever's watching this about something 30, 40 years later that we're still doing, we still love. There's been millions of pounds, billions of pounds made out of this, and industry. People have worked, they've fed their families, they've traveled the world, they've changed lives all through that little thing that happened in sort of the late 80s in this country. And it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, that's
Told
what
you I could
blows me.
talk. I told you I
Oh
could
no,
talk, didn't I? Sorry, mate.
I'll just try my best to not interrupt you. But the so that's the thing that really fascinates me is it's like it started as just kind of like a do-it-yourself thing that's just grown into like look at some of the drum and bass events these days. They're like
Ridiculous.
stadium sellout shows and that. It blows me
Yeah.
away. Like
Yeah.
it's so that rain dance one that you went to, what year was that?
That was Easter 1991.
Oh, so
It was
yeah,
the rave was called the Egg.
91.
Uh,
God, that's so
and do you
long
know, it's
ago.
funny, Steve, 'cause when I walked up to the gate, like from 16 to 18, I got a little bit taller, but I was the little kid at school, you know what I mean? I was, all my mates was like big, hairy, muscly by 14 and 15. I was the one like no hair, you know what I mean? Little short dude,
Skinny.
didn't want to get in
Yeah.
the showers after sport because all the others looked like men and I was still a little boy. And it was,
Yeah.
it was a hard time, like at school for me, that bit there, because I was a sporty kid and I was around all the big kids that were the same age as me and I was the little. So when I went to my first rave, I've got like fake ID in my pocket because when I've been trying to get in the pub with my mates from school, they all walk straight in because they've got a bit of stubble. I walk out, "Hi, mate. Yeah, I'm
Oh,
19 years old, mate." So yeah, so I carried this fake ID everywhere with me that sometimes worked and other times didn't. So I've gone to this rain dance rave with my older cousins, and I'm thinking now I'm in the fucking big league now with the big boys. They're all
yeah.
older than me. Raves are for big people. So I've walked up to the gate and as big a chest I could puff out as a 16-year-old little pigeon chested, little scrawny little fucker. I did it. And I walked up to the gate trying to be like one of the lads. And do you know what? The security didn't bat a fucking eyelid because rave was different to going down the
Yeah.
pub. Going down the pub was a different culture, but I still was yet to learn that. To me, it was like I was going to a bigger version of a pub. Obviously, rave was the complete opposite of drink culture. But yeah, I walked through these massive beefy security guards that was just looking at me and looking straight through me, and I never got ID'd at a rave ever, 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 ever. It was just it just felt like we was all welcome, man. And if you behaved, he was welcome. Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, rain dancer. I got to play for him years later, and the full circle. I got booked by Rain Dance probably I don't know how many years after, but yeah, it was a real moment because that moment there at Jenkins Lane, it changed my life.
Yeah.
Literally
Well,
changed.
I mean, you said you were going to sign for a professional football team. You
Yeah.
think about it, you're still working in the like music industry now. I doubt you'd be still playing football at that level
Oh,
now.
I'm telling
You
you. Yeah.
better, you made
Do you
the
know what as
best
well?
move.
Yeah, I mean, I was a good footballer, but I wasn't. I can look back now with an older head and know that I wouldn't have made it to the level. I might have played for a very lower league team, I was probably that level. So
Yeah.
I might have earned a little bit of a wage out of it, but it wouldn't have been. Listen,
Millions.
I don't
Yeah.
regret one fucking second of any of my life. I've had a fucking blast, mate. Honestly,
Yeah.
I mean,
Mate, I've got to ask you the like difficult question because
here we
I
go.
think like most of the listeners will be like me, especially if they're an Australian. Like we know what drum and bass is, and we've heard of jungle, but like, what is the difference between jungle and drum and bass?
The $64 million question. Um, in this modern era, look, it's really hard to pull them apart. I mean, there's obvious jungle tunes and there's obvious drum and bass tunes, which I'll try and explain as best I can. But years ago, jungle was born out of rave music. So there was only for a while, there was only jungle music. There was nothing to compare it to. And then there started to become, I guess, people like your Goldies and your Bookums and your Fabios were kind of championing a different style of, even back then, what I would have called jungle, but what was to become drum and bass. So it was more, jungle was built from break beats taken from rave with kind of reggae bass lines and maybe a reggae vocal or an R&B vocal or something like that over the top. So it would have a kind of bassy groove to it. Um, and drum and bass was more beats led. It was more industrial sounding, I guess, or more melodic sounding, as in like the kind of LTJ Bookham stuff. The way him and Fabio went, it was more musical. It wasn't so reggae ragga. It was more strings and harmonies. So there was like, by 94, going into 95, there was a kind of a bit of a separation within the scene. So people like me, I still wanted to go and play the hardcore jungle ragamuffin stuff. I fucking loved it. The Conganati Rebel MC stuff, the Third Party, the IB for Records, all of that stuff that had that real raw reggae edge. But on the other side, you had, like I say, Goldie had started Metalheads by then, and he was interested more in the beats, the technical stuff, getting a beat and chopping it into a million pieces and all that kind of stuff. That was what he was interested in. And like I say, Bookham and Fabio, they like the saxophones and the strings and the melodies and the harmonies. So back then it was a lot easier to say, that's a drum and bass tune, that's a jungle tune. But as the years have gone by, uh, things get passed down. And I guess it's much like, I mean, I don't know if this is the politically correct thing to say anymore, but Chinese whispers. I don't know what we're allowed to say in this era now, but Chinese whispers. So what we liked was passed down to the next generation and the next generation and the next generation. And now we're in a place where the kids that are making jungle, what they call jungle, doesn't sound like jungle to me. It sounds like a mishmash of a load of different things. But someone like Nia Archives, for instance, who's massively popular in this new wave of jungle, she's touring the world, she's huge, she's supporting massive acts, selling out fucking stadiums and that. Sometimes I hear what she's playing and it doesn't sound like jungle to me. It sounds a bit like happy hardcore. It sounds a bit, there's influences from other music I can hear. There's a 4/4, a kick drum that to me is the anti-jungle. Like jungle is breakbeat to the backbone of jungle, but in the modern era, there's a different slant on it. So, I can sit here as a 50-year-old and say, that's not this and this is that and all that. But the kids are out there, they're going to be doing it when we're all gone and and it'll get passed down and passed down. And you can say, yeah, it's been watered down and it's not what jungle is and what it represents and what it should be. But I think as long as it keeps its black identity and it always remains that like that is the core of it, because the identity of jungle is the bass lines and the black influence of rave music gave us jungle music. So if it's going to be whitewashed and forgotten about, then for me that's a problem. As long as they're always referencing them bass lines, them sounds, them little snippets here and there, then that's them tipping their hat to the old days. I'm happy with that. But what is the difference between drum and bass and jungle in 2025?
No one knows.
Mate, if you're out there, let me know, because I fucking don't know myself anymore. Yeah.
No,
I was going to say, I hope that helps, but it's probably confused people more. But
well, it's made me feel a
join
bit
the
better
club,
about it
guys.
because I can't really tell the difference. So that's made me feel a bit better about that.
Yeah, you're not alone, mate. You're not alone.
Yeah. So, like, because your career is pretty interesting. You weren't like you weren't playing on the big raves back in the day, where you sort of came up a bit later on. But so you kind of had your start in like pirate radio, didn't you?
Yeah,
Do you want to
yeah,
tell us a bit about that, like how it started? And
yeah. Um,
because I
sorry,
mean, I've listened to
I'm
your
trying to smoke off camera. Sorry,
oh,
mate.
you're all right.
Um,
Halftime oranges.
after mate, I'm being told normally I'm not allowed to smoke indoors, but because we're doing this, Steve, I've got a
Yeah, you can get away with it.
I got the
Nice.
green card off the wife, innit? So yeah. Um, so yeah, pirate radio. I always say it's the heartbeat and the backbone of everything that I've ever done. Still to this day, even though I'm not on pirate anymore, radio So, going back to the 90s, I wasn't the most confident kid. Believe it or not, nowadays you can't shut me up. But I just always had this, I bought my decks in 91 and I learned how to mix. And by sort of like 93 and 4, I would say I was good enough to be able to play in a club or on pirate radio. But I didn't have the confidence to go. Looking back now, I didn't, I was going in record shops and I wouldn't talk to anyone and I would just be, I just very, I didn't make the right moves because I didn't know what to do. And I was probably shy and I didn't want to bug people. I don't know. Anyway, so pirate radio, I was an avid listener and a massive fan. Cool FM basically shaped everything that I did, from 1991 when they switched on at the end up until probably 96. My whole record collection was built from DJs that I loved off the radio, Cool FM, and I went to their raves and I fucking followed everything they did. So,
Sorry, man. Just what's some DJs that played on Cool FM?
so I mean, over the years, everyone's come through there. Everyone from Shy FX to Andy C to all of them have done guest shows and passed through. But I guess back then, they're the ones that I would have followed would have been Brocky, DJ Ron, SL, DJ Kane, Pressure X, Younghead. Brian G was on there back then as well. Nicky Black Market, obviously with Hyper D
Yeah.
back in the mid 90s. But that period from 92 to 96, Cool FM changed the game for radio, like how radio was presented and how we listened to it and the power that they had was no one had ever done what they'd done before, and it was just a massive inspiration for me and kids like me, because it was like at them times raves had, like I said a minute ago, rave DJs had started to become famous. So through the early part of the 90s, they was almost like a bit untouchable, you know what I mean? And how do you go from being like I was DJ Doug's back then. So how do you go from being DJ Doug's in his bedroom to playing for Fantasia or Desire or all these big raves? It's a impossible jump. But pirate radio was a thing where there was a few pirate radio stations, even in your local area. Even if you didn't know someone on it, your mates knew someone that was on it. It was almost like you could touch it. It was there. You
Yeah.
could get to it. It was accessible and it was normal people doing it. Even though it wasn't easy for me to get my first show, I knew people that were doing radio. So it was the end of 1994. A friend of mine, he's actually one of my oldest friends. I grew up with him, went to school with him, played football with him. And then we kind of went different ways, but he always DJ'd and went to raves. I'd see him out here and there. And it got to 94 and I went into one of my local record shops and he was working behind the counter. I fucking walked in. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what are you doing? Doey, his name is Doe. His real name's Darren Brooks, but his DJ name is Doey. And the guy that worked in the shop before him was a friend of mine as well, Busby. He'd left the shop and Doey had took over. So now I'm going behind the counter, getting the promos out from under the thing. I'm having a mix in. Other people are coming in the shop. I'm fucking mixing in the shop. It's the first time I'd ever done anything like that. And it was this fucking buzz. So Dowie at the time played on a station called Unity FM, which were a big station in Essex. They was very, how can I put it? Look, they were very white, right? There was a very white station. So to the Essex side of stuff, the more into London you got, Cool FM, Weekend Rush, them kind of radio stations, they had MCs and it was very jungly, very more centered around black culture. Whereas Unity would play the same kind of music, but it was black music played by white people in a white fashion. If that's
Yeah.
I listen. I don't know how to be politically correct sometimes, but I'm just saying it how it was. And so Dowie said to me, "Why don't you get on the radio?" And I said to him, "Yeah, I'm waiting to get on Call FM. I've sent tapes to Eastman, and he ain't got back to me." And Dowie said to me, "Bruv, you ain't getting on Call FM. Like, we're all trying to get on Call FM. You need to fucking think a bit differently." So I said to him, "Mate, listen, I don't want to be on Unity, no disrespect, but like, I mean, I like the MCs and the ragga stuff, and usually up there being a bit like white for me,
Oh,
it's a bit."
Bit
Yeah, it's a bit.
posh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a bit. Yeah, it's like it weren't even posh because they was like these are street kids, but they didn't have MCs passing the mic, and when they said the words that the guys on Call FM were saying, it sounded like white people trying to say black things, and it just didn't. None of it. None of it felt. Listen, I love Call FM.
Not as authentic.
Exactly that, yeah. So basically, the station he was on, they just started up another station called Conflict FM, and it was like it was more like to be. I think it was meant to be more of a jungly kind of stuff. But anyway, did I want a show on there? So I bit the bullet, and I was like, fuck it, it's 1995 soon. I've been DJing for 4 years. I need to do something with my fucking DJing in my life. So I said, yeah. So he's rung up this guy, DJ Infinity, his name was. He actually DJs under the name of Bill Vega these days. And said to him, I've got a DJ. So I had to do a demo tape. And I went home and I did a 30-minute demo tape, took it into the shop the next Saturday, give it to Dowie. He gave it to Infinity. And on the Monday or the Tuesday, I get a phone call. Tape is really good. Do you want to start this week? And I'm like, hey, man, yeah, yeah. He said to me, do you want Saturday night, 8 till 10? So to me, I'm thinking that's a prime time show, Saturday night. Fucking hell. Like, I've started in the. Now, unbeknown to me, the reason they gave me that show was because the station was just about to start doing their first event, and all the DJs never wanted to go to the event, so they didn't have no one to play on a Saturday night. So because Muggins was new, I got the 8 till 10.
Yeah.
And I kept that show for the station was on for about 2 years. I kept that show for a couple of years, and that was my start into pirate radio. And as a listener, I knew I was a proper a nerd, and I kind of knew everything about Cool FM and the lingo and the catalog numbers of the fucking tunes and all of that. Proper nerd. But I didn't know anything about actual pirate radio. I'd never been to a pirate radio station. I didn't know what the rules were and the etiquette and all of that. So I had to go there on the Saturday afternoon and go and meet this guy, Infinity. And Infinity was a very fucking competent DJ, very confident on the mic as well. So I go up there, I'm sitting in this fucking studio now. Do you want me to? I mean, I could describe what the studio, because I'm
Yeah.
assuming Australian viewers maybe didn't have as much pirate radio as what we would
No,
have had.
I don't
So
think
yeah,
we had any over here, or if we did, it was minimal.
yeah, yeah. Okay. So I go to this tower block on an estate in Rainham in Essex, called the Muddyke Estate, and I was told, I think the studio was on the 6th floor or the 8th floor or something like that, but you get the lift to a different floor and walk down or walk up so that people don't see all of us going to the same floor all the time, because obviously there's a lot of DJs coming in and out through the weekend. Every 2 hours there's another DJ and another DJ, and we're doing this illegally in a council tower block with another fucking 80 residents in there around us. So there's only so much you can hide, but what you could do. And he said, don't bring a record bag, don't bring a record box, bring your records in I had a Royal Mail bag. So I used to put all my records in my postman bag, my dad's bag at the time, and take my records in my. So it was anything to sort of throw the neighbours off or prying eyes off the scent a little bit. So yeah, so I go there, I go into the studio and I'm watching Infinity do his show. And he was just so good. Like, he's mixing and talking at the same time, and he's reading the phone and giving shouts out. And I'm just looking at him thinking, this geezer's fucking really good.
Yeah.
But up until then, I've always just assumed, because I've always listened to DJ MC combinations in jungle, I'm thinking like I'd always have an MC. It actually dawned on me while I was sitting there watching him. I thought, I've got to fucking talk on the mic. And I just felt the colour drain out of me sitting in that studio, right? So I've gone home, and now by the time I got home, it was about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I've got to be back there for 8 o'clock. I live about 15 minutes away at the time. In between 4 o'clock and fucking 8 o'clock, I made myself ill with worry. I came up with fucking blotches. Like, honestly, I just the fear of talking on the radio. Like, it was bad enough that I was going up to do my first radio show. I
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
quite
Even just
excited about the
mixing. Yeah.
music.
Yeah.
Yeah, until it dawned on me, like, no one's going to be at the radio. Who's going to talk? So basically, yeah, I made myself fucking ill. But I went there, 8 o'clock I was there. I did my first show, Conflict FM. Um, I didn't actually talk on the mic. There was someone in the studio. Big up DJ Lust. He's still my friend to this day. MC Lust, as he was known back then. He couldn't afford to go out that night, and he was in the studio with us. So he did the phone line
Oh,
and give the shouts out for me. But thank God. But the second time I did it, I've got a recording of it when I spoke on the mic for the first time. And I'm like, yeah, big up. This one's called Basic Principles. Big up, Dan J. Like my voice sounds like
no.
a 10-year-old whose balls haven't dropped yet. I'm just so nervous. But yeah, that was my first thing. And like walking into the radio, like, over the years, I've been in a million different studios. But back then, you know, we when I say we, I mean like the people that run the Pirates and the DJs, we didn't really know what we was doing. So, and we had no money. We had no way of turning this music thing into money back then. We didn't even know how to monetize. We was just doing it because we had this core belief that our music deserved to be played on the radio, and BBC and all of them stations, they would not give us the time of day. So we did it ourselves. And we would not be stopped, you know. So gradually I went from being the DJ to running the radio, which we'll get into, I'm sure. But yeah, I walked into this flat for the first time, and the guy that lived there, Mark Anthony's DJ name was, that's not his real name, but he lived in the flat, he DJ'd on the station, and you know, back then he don't mind me telling this story because he's older and he's done all right for himself in life. But back then he had fuck all. He had no money. You know, the radio would pay him a little bit of change every week to have the studio in his flat, but he had like a sofa, a table, the table that the decks were on, and then he'd go into his kitchen and he had like a bowl, a cup, and a spoon. You know, one of them, no carpet on the floor, no fucking nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but a lot of
Wow.
the radio stations were like that because you got to think like we moving forward. Oh no, hold on, before we move forward. So also in there, we had a TV in the corner, and what fascinated me was we had channel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which was the TV. And on channel 6, they'd rigged it so that there was a camera downstairs that when you buzzed on the flat to get in, it went to a concierge, which was like an office. Someone would answer it, and then they would put you through to the flat that you wanted to go to. So they'd bypass that, and they had a camera, the same camera that the concierge had. We could log into it on channel 6 on the telly. Mate, it fucking blew my
Wow.
mind. When I walked in here and I could see the front door that was like 8 floors below on their telly in the front room, just to give us that little bit of heads up to know who was coming in
Yeah.
and out. It fucking blew. I thought I was dealing with like MI5 or like I'm in this spy world. Like, where have these guys
Yeah.
come from? You have to excuse me. I've got a bit of a cold, guys, so I keep sniffing all the time. Sorry.
Actually,
And
I do as well. I'm a bit like
no, I've been a
interested.
bit. I've lost my voice a little bit as well. Luckily for you lot, because I'll run out of voice in the end. But yeah, so that was the first inkling, and then of the other side of Pyra, using a different bag, getting a lift to the different floor, seeing the block outside on the camera, so we could have a little minute to pack everything up. In them times it was the DTI, which was the Department of Trade and Industry. That was who we was running away from. It later changed to Ofcom, which was the same sort of, you know, it was the same people trying to stop you fucking doing it, basically under a different banner. But yeah, but what I realized as I got into radio and years later running radio and stuff, like as we got more professional with it, we started getting units and we started being able to monetize stuff so we could pay for better premises. But back in them days, you would find usually some kind of crackhead or some kind of person that's down on their luck that loves the radio. So they might want you to have the radio in their flat because they listen to it.
Yeah.
Or sometimes it might be like a single mum or something like that who just fucking needs the money. You know what I mean? She don't really want the radio in her kitchen or a spare room, but she's got a baby to feed, and we're offering her however much a week to put the radio in her flat. So, you know, over the first couple of years of my pirate radio career, I just saw a lot of dodgy fucking
Shit
premises, you
like
know.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot like in the main in the front room. So we might be in the kitchen in the front room. There might be a lot of illegal activity going on in there, which would sometimes be banded to the radio, but it wasn't actually like the people that run the radio of all of the stations I've been on, Cool FM, Rinse FM, Conflict, all of them. The people that run it weren't drug dealers. They had no financial backings of illegal means. They just loved the music, and but they also love the technology as well. They love building transmitters and putting aerials up, and so that was why they run radio. But around that circle, because it was an underground world anyway, playing illegal music loudly is fucking hard to do in a built up area. You know,
That
you're
w
relying on
that w that was gonna be my next question, like, I'm sure if you're mixing on the decks and getting all pumped up, the volume would just keep increasing, like, how do you do that without getting, neighbors
well,
complaining and
yeah, it was back then. It was as times went on, we started building soundproof boxes. Then we started hiring things that we would label as a music studio, like a unit or not aware, like a space. Years later, we started doing that. But in the early days, basically what we would do was just be fucking arseholes, if I'm totally honest. Like, how else do you dress up? Like, you're in a tower block with 90 flats, 80 flats, 100 flats. You're in a middle floor. There's 4 to 6 flats just on your floor alone, then above and below. You've got music from Friday evening till Monday morning, constantly, 24 hours, DJs and MCs. You know, you try to keep it as quiet as you can, especially through the night. Obviously, that's why they're called graveyard DJs, the graveyard slot, is because everything had to be brought down. But, you know, Saturday night, Sunday through the day into Sunday night, especially back then, you'd have all the crew up there with everyone drinking and smoking,
yeah,
fucking singers a tune and dropping like, oh, everyone in the studio. It was like a fucking raving now.
yeah, I can
So,
imagine.
within no time, the neighbours would know. Now, sometimes you would get neighbours that liked it. Sometimes you get neighbours that even fucking listen to the radio
Yeah,
station. You know, they couldn't believe that it was in their block, and they'd be like, "No fucking." They'd end up in there with you. But then you get neighbours that hated it, and you get neighbours that hated it that wouldn't do anything. But you get neighbours that hated it. The first thing usually would be you get a note through the door. Can you, we know what you're doing. If you don't stop this soon, we're going to phone the authorities. Blah blah blah. So you might get that. Sometimes you might get a knock on the door and someone saying to you, can you turn the fucking music down? I'm sick of this. We've last 3 weekends, we ain't been out of sleep, blah, blah, blah. So you first of all, you try and be nice to them people and say sorry and all that. But in the end, it's one of them like, unless you've got somewhere to take the radio, you either switch the radio off or you keep doing it and you have to say to them, look, fuck off, mate. And there was a lot of that went on back
yeah,
then. I'm not
yeah,
proud to say it as a big man now, but we it sounds mad, like the radio was like our priority back then, and we felt it was for the bigger thing. So we had times when people would come and threaten us, they'd get their mates and they'd turn up and say, mate, if you don't fucking turn it off, me and my mates a bit, so we'd have to go and get our mates, and it would be, it's
yeah,
pathetic,
yeah,
really. So thinking back now, it was pathetic because we probably could have found better premises, but because we were so naive and it was so primitive, we didn't understand that yet. We just thought part of the fucking culture was putting it in the middle of everyone and fucking getting on with it. But then we've had times, I mean, you probably saw this one, I think I've talked about it on one of the Rave Diary episodes, when we had a studio in a flat, and there's 2 lesbians that lived next door. This is 1995, going back to 95. One of them was this petite, lovely little lady. One of them was this fucking angry butch lady, right?
mhm,
And she did give us a couple of warnings. She said to us, if you don't fucking turn it off, I'm going to come in and smash the equipment up, yeah? In no uncertain terms did she tell us. We'd be like, yeah, bollocks, fucking, of course you are.
yeah,
Sunday afternoon, we're in the radio. Deep Blue Helicopter was playing on the right deck. The right deck was closest to the living room door. We're in the living room. We heard a bang. Next thing, the living room door come. She kicked the front door off downstairs, the big lady. She come up the stairs. She kicked the living room door off. She swung a baseball bat and put it straight through the turntable through the helicopter. It smashed into smithereens. The turntable had a massive deck in it. Someone's got up and grabbed her and sort of manhandled her down the stairs and got her out again. But she was true to it. Listen, we fucking
yeah,
deserved it. You know what
yeah,
I mean? For all the ones that said they were going to do it, she fucking did, mate. And I wish I could shake her hand now. Fair play to her. Because all the blokes that used to give it, none of them ever done fuck all. The
yeah,
one bloke that said, I'm going to come and smash your equipment up if you don't turn that shit off. Yeah, of course you are. Well, she did it, mate. I tell, after that, we kept the music down after that. How about that? She taught us a little bit of a
yeah,
lesson.
yeah,
Yeah, but Yeah, look, we got raided, you know, the DTI obviously got wind of stuff and they came and took your equipment and your records and blah, blah, blah. But it was all part of the culture. It was the cat and mouse. It, it, pirate radio wasn't for everyone because not a lot, you know, some people couldn't handle the nerves of thinking that the door's going to come off and they're going to lose their records. They're going to get arrested and, you know, you end up in court and you get a fine. People have been put in prison for it. But for a lot of us, either it was part of the buzz. Like for me, it was part of the buzz was the all of that, the danger, I like the
It's
camaraderie
exciting.
between you.
Yeah.
Yeah, between it was like supporting a football team. Your radio station was your team, and you and
Yeah.
all your mates that were on there, you would fucking fight to the maybe not to the death, but you would fight to the death for your station, you know. And it was a beautiful thing, but it wasn't for everyone. You know, sometimes DJs would come. You know, I could tell you some really well known. I won't because I don't want to flow 'em up. But there was some really well known DJs that I've seen them come to Pirate to do their show and never come back again because they spent their whole time, you know, looking over their show. Any noise, they're like, "What was that? What was that?" So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't for, but I loved it, man, and that it going back to the. Sorry for being so long winded for my answers, but I never got a booking at a rave for years. No one gave a shit about me really until I was in my 30s, if I'm totally honest. But radio always gave me a reason, you know, a reason to play music. As I got into the running of the radio, the Rinse FM era of my life, it gave me a reason to, I mean, I still DJ'd on there a bit, but running the radio and helping all of them Dizzy Rascals and fucking all of them people that came through that era that I managed, it gave me a reason. I didn't have rave bookings. I didn't have raves to run, all of that. I just had the radio. And then, you know, luckily my career took off and it's took me where it's took me, but I still do my radio show every single Friday. I've done it every year, every week on Rids for the last 14 years, I think now. So I've been doing radio every single week since January the 7th, 1995. Love. I've tried to pack it up once or twice and now I've packed up, trying to pack up because I can't. It's just in me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, one day I'll probably drop down dead at the fucking controls in the radio, and that will be the end of it. Because I love it. I love the feeling I love being in a room on my own, playing to people that are listening who can feed back to you through. It's different to a rave. Obviously, that's direct feedback, but that bond between you and the phone line crew, it's a bit because I people don't realize that a lot of times you get personal messages that come through the studio. Like I read 90% of them out, but sometimes people will send you things in the first will say, please don't read this out on the radio.
Yeah.
And then tell you a bit about a hard time they've had or whatever, you know, there's all different kind of things and that's a unique bond between you and them that you don't get in a rave. You don't get anywhere else. You're just, it's you and the listener. And if you get it right, you can make every listener feel like you're talking to them while you're talking to them, all of them, you know?
Yeah. Well, for anyone listening, you got to check out your show. It's like it's an actual history lesson every week, isn't it? You go through the years, 1991, and you'll do
Yeah.
1 week on 92. Like when
Yeah.
the text
Try to show
messages come
everyone where
through,
yeah.
does that come through on like a computer screen or something that you can, or is it to
What,
come
for
through?
you?
How do you read them out? Like, how do you see them come through?
No, they're on a phone. It's old school, mate. I've got them on
Oh,
a phone up
really?
there coming through WhatsApp.
No
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, I keep it as old school as I can in the modern era. Like I play USBs and I don't play records anymore and all of that. But my show and the what is it, the ethos of what I do, is that the
Yeah.
right word? Yeah, is the old days. Like I play my old music in a new style. So I use 4 decks and I mix it up really quick and I chop and I loop. And so I've modernized what I do to keep up with the current world. But my job in this scene, and I think I was probably put on this planet to just keep going on about the old days and keep reminding people. And it's funny because I had a row with DJ Hype. I mean, we're really good friends nowadays, but before we were good friends, we had a row at an airport about 10, 15 years ago. He couldn't understand why I don't support new music and why I don't care about what's happening now and all that. And we had we had a massive row at the airport, and then we had a 3-hour fucking journey. We didn't know we were going to be in the same car together.
Oh
So we
no.
had this big row at the airport, and I'm like, yeah, fuck you, and fuck off, and all that. Walked out the airport, the ladies holding the board up, Simon Duggins, Sarah Duggins, Kevin Ford. Me,
Oh
Sarah,
no.
went in.
Yeah.
So we get in the back of the car, and as soon as we get like, what was you fucking saying? Yeah, so fucking, we end up carrying it on. But by the end of it, he understood, and now we've become really close friends, and he's got a mad respect for what I do. I had to make him understand that you lot are out there setting trends. I'm out here making sure people don't forget you lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My job is to remember and celebrate what you lot did, because none of you lot care about what you did. You don't want to talk about it, you don't want to play it, you don't want to keep going on about the old days. But there's a massive, massive, massive core of people out there that either love what we all did and love what all you guys did. Because I was a raver back then and a budding bedroom DJ. I wasn't, like you said, I wasn't doing the thing until much later. My job is to celebrate what they've all did. So my career shouldn't really have happened. I was like if you can be an up and coming old school DJ, that's what I was. And really, you shouldn't get a break, because who wants to hear an old school DJ that wasn't there in the old school? Like, it doesn't, my whole career don't fucking make sense, really. Like,
Yeah, but you were
but
there. It's almost even better because you were a raver.
well, this is what's resonated with listeners and
Yeah.
people. And when I've got my little breaks along the way, it's funny because I've met my heroes, right? Obviously, for a long time I didn't know them. I looked at them on the stage and, oh, I want to be like him. And I'd love to know him, and I'd love to. And then I got to meet him, and as I got to meet him later in life, and I'd now established myself as this Uncle Doug's person. I'm on the radio. I've got the stories. I know fucking what I'm talking about. I've got the selection. When they meet me, they assume that they've met me years ago and they know me from years ago. And I'm like, for instance, when I met Doc Scott for the first time, he came to do his interview on my radio show, and he walked in, he's like, hello, brother, I ain't seen you for years, how are you? And I ain't never met Doc Scott at this
You're
point,
like,
because I would know.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
brother, I would know. If I've met any people along the way, the journey, I fucking know, because they're my heroes. So, and he wasn't the only one. So I've just been accepted, I think, I don't know, through my knowledge of the music and my love for it, it's given me an acceptance with the listeners, and a love for the listeners, which has then overlapped into when I got onto call, like when I was running Rinse as a grime dubstep station back then, and then I got the opportunity to go onto Call FM. When I got onto there, their listeners accepted me, and their DJs accepted me, because they knew I knew what I was talking about, and because I knew my history on call, it was like I just slotted straight in. So when I met Brocky and all these people for the first time, they accepted me as one of their own straight away, because I fucking knew all about everything to do with
Yeah.
them and the station. I weren't some fraud trying my luck. So that gave me this sort of, I don't know, like a bit of a, you need to be endorsed, and you need to be almost sort of stamped sometimes by the relevant people. That was the first of that. And then, so yeah, through the next bit of my journey through Call FM, taking me back to Rinse, where I got my show on the now legal Rinse FM. Um, it was almost like this weird journey of, I was playing old music around all my heroes, and to people that didn't get it, they just thought I was one of them. The
Yeah.
ravers and the listeners that don't know my journey, they just assume I've always been this guy, and I'm like, nah. Like, I was with you guys, mate. I never even got a guest list till 1999. I paid for all my tickets. I bought all my records. I didn't get promos. I didn't get test presses. I didn't get dub plates. All my record collection is pretty much labeled, wait for it to come out music, because I didn't have links. I didn't have a clue what I was doing. But I learned from and I always wanted it. And sometimes I used to think, oh man, I could do that. I'm as good as them, or I could do this. I could fucking. But I never begrudged anyone anything, but I always knew I was capable. I just didn't know how to get there. But when my time come around, all the stuff that I've learned the really long, slow, hard way, it paid me dividends, because now
Yeah.
I can sit with any fucking person in the world and I can hold my own, because I've done Mate, I've done all the jobs. Like, I've done them all. I've done a lot, from flying outside raves to driving vans to distribution to running the radio to the events to writing the books to fucking presenting. Like, literally, and I'm not trying to give it a big I am. I'm just saying, like, back then I would have took a shortcut if I could, because I just wanted to be on the stage and I wanted to be
Yeah,
up there doing. But looking back now, this is a lesson for people of, like, we're in a very now era. Like,
yeah,
people are fucking famous out of nowhere and then they're gone again a minute later. When you do things the proper way and you learn your fucking trade and it might seem like you're getting nowhere and it might seem like other people are getting your shine or your time. But I wouldn't change my journey for the world, because I can talk about the old days with the old people, but I can also now talk about the progression of this era we're in and my thoughts and feelings on this era, because I've just been around all the different bits of it and I've soaked it all in because I love it. And
yeah,
that, I guess, that has been the making of me, the not rushing it. If I
yeah,
could go
man.
back and do it again, I would still take the shortcut because I wouldn't have known any different. But knowing what I know now, mate, the long, hard slog is the best way, because no one can ever question your credentials, where you come from, you're sorry, or who you are.
I'm coughing
You know what I
too.
mean?
Yeah,
Yeah. So,
mate.
yeah,
I say this to people all the time. Like, whenever you try and take a shortcut at anything in life, the universe always humbles you.
100%.
It always
100%.
just chops you down a few notches, and you think, "Ah, shit, there is no
Yeah.
shortcuts. I got to do this properly."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thing is, though, when you're young, I see it with this modern era. When someone's promising you a load of stuff because you look great, it's very hard for a youngster who don't know the way the world works and all that to say no. And it's a sad world these days, a little bit, because I just feel part of the beauty of the journey was the shit bits, getting no, like them late nights pirate radio with my mates. Mate, when I first started doing my show, nobody listened. No one rung up for a shout. Like, I'm talking like I might do 4, 5, 6 shows week after week, not one phone call. And of course I cared because I wanted the phone to be going bling, 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 bling,
Yeah,
bling, cool. But I didn't give a shit because I was going to do the radio. And when I look back now, all the shitty studios, all the MCs MCing too loud over my set and I can't hear the music, all of them things set me in good stead, because now when I'm in them situations when things ain't so great, the sound might not be so great, or the MC's coming through my monitor where the other DJs don't like MCs through their monitor. I say to the engineer, put 'em I want to be able to hear what they're fucking saying. I'm in their vibe and all. So all of them things make you who you are, you know what I mean? And I don't think the shortcut way, as much as it may be lucrative and it may work for some people, if you want to do this properly and get the most out of it, the most enjoyment, not the most money and the most success, the most enjoyment, learn it all along the way, man. Do the shit jobs. Do like I've fucking done bare jobs for free. Like I've done
yeah,
nowadays, people say, "Oh, promoters are mugging you off. You're giving out flyers for a promoter. What, they want you to sell tickets for them?" And mate, it's all wrong, because for me, doing them giving the flyers, I gave flyers out in '91 for a promotion called the Pure Organisation. They run events called Dance 91, Dance, the big promoters. They fucking knocked. We weren't even getting paid. They gave us a big box of flyers, me and my cousin. We were going to get guest list into this rave. They didn't even put our names on the door. I didn't give a shit. I bought a ticket outside and went in anyway. I was
yeah.
so engrossed in the whole thing that it was never for financial reasons or to gain anything apart from the experience. And I think that has been lost a little bit along the way, where people now have got their eye on the prize from the start, whereas there was no prize in the start when I fucking got into it. And for a long time, there was no prize to gain. It was just,
Doing it for the
I want
love.
to do this thing. Yeah, I want to play music. So I want to play music so people smile. That's all it is. That is the bottom line of everything.
So when, like you said, you've had loads of jobs in music. We were talking before we started recording that you were doing distribution for ice cream records, going to
Yeah.
plastic surgery when I was living in England, I used to buy records from. Funnily enough,
Pick up the Maidstone crew.
Yeah, man. You know Nick Fanciulli, he's like a massive house music DJ. I don't know if you've heard of him before.
I know of the name. I don't know him, but
Yeah,
I've heard the name.
he's like a
Yeah.
superstar in the, always with Carl Cox and that. He used to work at plastic surgery. Man,
Right.
and Mark Knight's from Maidstone. There's so many people from Maidstone. It's weird. But
Yeah.
that Atomics nightclub used to have the drum and bass on the Saturday night. I never went to
Pure
that.
Science, I think that would have been.
Pure Science, yeah. But yeah, that
Yeah. Yeah. Big up
would have been
Jungle Jim and
huge.
Paddy. Yeah. Yeah. It's see, by the time Atomics come around, so I've been to Atomics, but my musical thing was like I got into hardcore after being into rock stuff as guitars, and then jungle evolved, and then drum and bass sort of as drum and bass crept in through '96. I started working for Ice Cream Records. Now, I was a staunch junglist through that period of my life. Like everything else was the enemy. Like it was jungle or nothing. If you
Yeah,
listen to other stuff, I can't fucking roll with you. Stupidly looking back now, but that's how it was.
yeah,
And garage was almost like the enemy back then, you know, because it would appear in room 2 and it would be around the music I was around, and I'd be like, "Mate, that fucking music it's a bunt, bunt. What the fuck is that? You need some you need all that in music." So I started working for Ice Cream Records, who I didn't know it, but they were just about to be a huge garage label. Now I joined on, it was released 2 or 3. And the reason I applied for the job was because the guy that owned Ice Cream Records, Kid Andy, I've got to give him, he's not a kid anymore, but we'll give him a shout, Kid Andy. Previous to that, he owned a label called Boogie Beat Records. And I was looking for a magazine one day, might have been Rewind magazine, I can't remember. And there was a little bit in the back page of like listings and stuff. And there was a box that said, it was the Boogie Beat logo that I recognised from the old hardcore days. And it was Boogie Beat Distribution. Need a van driver to drive their records, blah, blah, around the country. And then the number 0199, I won't give out the number, but 01992 is stuck in my head all these years later. I won't give it out because it's still Andy's home number. So I ring up this fucking number, and Kid Andy has got a very distinctive voice, and he did quite a lot of pirate radio ads back in the day for Thunder and Joy, for his own release. Like he released some Weekend Rush EPs and they had pirate radio ads attached to him. He's got a really distinctive voice. So I ring this number. He picks the phone up and he's like, hello. I said, hello, can I speak to Andy, please? He said, yeah, Andy speaking. I said, is that Kid Andy? He's like, yeah. I said, bruv, I fucking know you're from the Thunder and Joy. So from that moment, we just sort of clicked. We
yeah,
are now, we're talking away, rabbiting on the phone. And I ended up being the driver for Ice Cream Records from release 2 to number 10 when Rip Groove, which was their sort of seminal hit that come out. But what it did for me musically was it put me in the eye of the storm, whereas the new emerging sound of garage, which was quite heavily influenced by jungle and rave previous, because a lot of these new garage producers were producers and DJs and stuff that couldn't get. Jungle was a very hard scene to break into. So garage started sounding more and more like more bassy and more, breaks introduced to it and stuff like that, because the guys then making it had come from jungle and rave, but they weren't getting the props or the love in that scene. So now I'm hearing this while I'm working for Ice Cream. I'm starting to hear less what I like in jungle drum and bass, because the drum and bass had started to become more like Ed Rush optical kind of techie sounding, and more, more beats and less reggae and less fucking sing-alongs. It was more technical. And the garage stuff was starting to involve more bass and more little snippets of reggae songs and little sing-alongs and bits and bobs that are. So gradually through the year of 96 going into 97, I stopped buying drum and bass and jungle and started buying garage. It was like starting again, because I didn't know any of the labels, the producers. It was like going to rain dance again, pardon me, for the first time. I remember looking up at the chart in Music Power Records in Ilford, the top 20 garage shows. I didn't know one tune, one producer, one label, but that sound caught me. And I guess working for Ice Cream helped me, because I was around, again, none of us knew it at the time, but what was going to become one of the biggest and well loved and well renowned garage labels of that really important era for garage. And I was there, I was their DJ. I would go and do radio shows for Ice Cream Records because Tim and Omar, that were Double 99, that were the producers, they weren't really interested at that time in Tim Deluxe, who's obviously a big house producer now. It was them two. But they weren't interested in being the DJs on the front man, and neither was Andy. So I was, I was their DJ, and it was great. So that took me on a different direction. So going back to Atomics, that era of my life when Atomics really blew up and Pure Science become the big rave. I went there, but only went there as like as a friend of people that were. I didn't go there to rave as such, or because I loved that. Like I was going to Pure Silk and Sun City and Twice as Nice, the big garage raves of that time. I'd started going into them, and that's kind of what took me towards the Rinse FM part of my story. Rinse started as a jungle station. It switched on in Bank Holiday August weekend 1994 as a jungle station, and it was Wiley and Genius and Slimsy and Target and all the guys that ended up becoming big names in grime music. They were jungle kids. They all wanted to be on Cool FM. They started a station because they couldn't get on Cool FM, like all of us tried. And then, like me, because they couldn't get anywhere in what they loved, and this new sound was emerging of garage. It was a different style of garage to what had been before, which was to be known as speed garage or two-step or whatever you want to call it. It was progressing towards what was eventually going to become grime. The MCs started, in garage music beforehand, you had hosts. Through this era, the hosts started becoming lyrical MCs. So, before we knew it, the seeds of grime were being sort of sowed, and none of us do it. And Rinse as a station progressed and from a jungle station to a bit of both, garage and jungle. And then they made their name, and they made, what they were to become was out of their garage, grime, dubstep legacy that they left. And they're still going there 30 years later. But it took a lot of jungle people away from jungle and into garage because drum and bass was a bit too noisy for some of us. I mean, it's funny because I can look back now and tunes that I didn't like then in drum and bass, I fucking love now. But at the time, people would say, people like me, you sold out on jungle, you give up on the
Yeah.
scene, you sell, what is it they call you? You jump ship. That's
Jump
it.
ship, yeah.
And you went over to garage. Now, my argument has always been, I weren't making the music back then. You lot jump ship because you didn't make the fucking music that I liked anymore. I still wanted to buy reggae, jungle, blah, blah, blah. And I get like things become stagnant and all that, but there was massive legs. And sadly, the reason that music stopped being made so much in that era was because of a bit of trouble and a little bit, again, going back to a little bit of whitewashing. The scene was very black and it was very connected with trouble through that part of the 90s. And drum and bass was almost like a little bit of a breakaway. They didn't want to be tarnished by that jungle thing. So with a new name and a new look, it was a lot easier to make it look cleaner, I guess. Is that you know
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So they tried to sort of get rid of them lot. We're not part of it. We're part of this drum and bass thing. It's not jungle, it's drum and bass. So the sound changed, and what the sound change it did was it dropped out a lot of people that like that kind of blacker side of the music, me included. Mate, where I come from, I'm a white guy from Dagenham. Now your viewers probably won't know Dagenham. Extremely racist white area I grew up in, like in the 70s and 80s, fucking really, really racist. So I had no black influence, black culture, luckily my parents were very I don't say liberal, but there was no racism. There was my house. If they heard anything like that, you get a clip round the ear hole. There
Yeah.
was none of it. Thank God. But I was surrounded by it. So finding rave and finding jungle and all the stuff that come with it, it opened up my whole like world to not just black culture, but world culture. I'd never met people like what I started to meet through raves. And going into the garage era, I think that people like myself that had now adopted and adapted this multicultural way of life, I felt like it got a little bit left behind with the drum and bass thing, but we saw more of it in garage. So that was why a lot of us went that way. So yeah, did I sell out? Did the music sell out? Either way, that was the way a lot of us shifted. But it's funny because now, we can all, for a little while, it was like a little bit of enemy almost. You was either this or you was that. And if you weren't this, you could be that. Now we talk about it, as sort of generation, artists and ravers and whatnot, we can see how silly it all was. But I think it needs that because if a scene is going to exist and thrive, it needs people that are just fucking nothing's going to stop them. I don't give a shit what popularity is. I don't care
Yeah.
what people
Yeah.
say, what people think. And if it's popular enough, like rave, jungle, garage, drum and bass, dubstep, grime, all these musics were, it will carry itself onto popularity. But you need them people in the start that don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And that is from the very start, your Paul Ibifas and your Wayne Anthony's and Genesis guy. I can't think of any other, but them original ones, they were the first lot that wouldn't be told no, and they give up to us, and we've passed it down, and it's been watered down, and now it's a big business, and it's not so illegal and so cutthroat in that way. But the core of the scene was built on we're fucking doing this whether you want it or not, and yeah, the garage scene. I
Sorry, man.
feel
Can I just jump in just
yeah,
in
of
case you
course,
go
Carl.
off on
Yeah,
another
sorry.
tangent?
Yeah,
The I read Terry Stone's book. Um, I
yeah.
can't. It might even be called One Nation. I'm not sure, but like
I think
he
it's
in
probably yeah, was it called The King of Clubs?
yeah, that's it. Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah,
he says in his book that there was like a period there was heaps of violence and like guys showing up to
yeah.
these raves with guns and knives. Like, was that what period
Yeah,
would
I
that have been
mean,
around? Or
that was happening. I think some of it is probably look, Terry's a filmmaker,
a
right?
bit
So he's
dramatized?
very good.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's not to say it didn't happen. So I don't want to say there was no guns, there was no this and no that. But to tell the stories now when we look back, you know, it kind of romanticizes it and fantasizes it a little bit to say they was everywhere.
yeah,
They was about, don't get me wrong, there was fucking shootings on the door, bouncers were shot dead, gangsters were in clubs. It happened. I fucking saw it firsthand. So I'm not saying it didn't, but I think maybe a lot of the times that was more behind the scenes, more so because there was money and ego and drug
yeah,
dealing and stuff like that. To me as a raver going out, I felt the edge. I felt that it was dangerous. And I did see things um that shouldn't happen in a club, stabbings and shootings and things like that. So I'm not saying Terry's like, and I'm not, but as a raver and as a record buyer and as a member of the public back then, you would hear about things and see the odd thing, but it wasn't like the Wild West. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It was more for a kid like me getting from the train station to the club. That was more of a problem than being in the club. Like running that gauntlet for a
Getting
fucking
mugged on the way
council
there.
estate.
Yeah,
Yeah, running the gauntlet for a
yeah,
council estate, trying to get to the venue. That more time in the I mean, I've been mugged in a rave. I got mugged in a rave in '91 when it was the happy era. So, definitely fucking went on out there. But I just think that era that Terry's talking about is probably more so the garage era of his life. Because obviously he ran One Nation and then he went into Garage Nation. The Garage Nation of his career, I would say that era there was more gangs and guns. I think London and the country had progressed more into gangs and organized gangs and turf wars and stuff like that through that era. So when you go into like the latter 90s, the early 2000s, if you ask me, that was the time when London clubland was probably at its fucking peak for violence and whatnot. So Jungle had a lot of trouble surrounding it, but I think the problem with Jungle is it looked more trouble than it was. Like, don't get me wrong, there was bad people and there was bad things going on around it. But when you looked at it, it was a lot of gunshot fingers and lighters and flamethrowers and aggression on the dance floor, which wasn't necessarily aggression. It was just the energy within the music. So it was
yeah.
easy to say, them lot of fucking trouble over there. Like, look at them. Garage and the very early days of what was to become grime. Like I saw a lot more and I heard a lot more. But then again, I was a little bit more involved back then as well. So I got to see behind the curtain. So a lot of the gang stuff and a lot of that didn't necessarily tip out on the dance floor a lot of the time. It would be backstage or, you know, around the rave so much. So,
Yeah.
and then they would want to come to the rave to settle beef. So what Terry's saying is true to an extent, but I wouldn't want to tarnish every era with that brush. For me, it was like from about 97 to maybe 2002, like 2003 even. That there, like in London especially, there was some gangs in London, which I won't bore you with now, but they were very active. And because of the friends that they'd kept, because you've got to think now people are growing up with these people. Some of the friends got into gang culture, some of the friends got into music. When the musician does well, the gang wants to hang about with the
Yeah,
musician.
of course. Yeah.
The musician can't say no because he's fucking scared.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, the gang are being brought in, no searches with the musician. And before you know it, two rival gangs are with two rival musicians. Then that sets the musicians off against each other. And then that little fucking thing starts to happen through Clubland. So yeah, that era was pretty fucking ruthless. But for me, it's weird because I'm a peace, love, and unity guy, right? I don't like trouble and violence. But but the energy that that gives an event, when it don't go wrong, when it don't spill out onto the dance floor or into violence, that energy when the DJ's playing and the MCs are going at it and the crowd are fucking in it and it's very tense, mate, that's the best fucking atmosphere in
Yeah.
the world. You can't, like, you could just cut the electricity, you could cut it with a knife. But obviously when it overspills or goes wrong, it's a problem. But when it doesn't, it's fucking amazing. But yeah, yeah. Terry's right in some of what he says, but Terry put himself in a world of that as well, you have to remember. So he
Yeah.
was a frontline worker, he was a door worker, you know, security, run the flyer company. Then he put himself on the door. But Terry was a very hands-on promoter as well. So he'd always put himself on offer when there was aggro. Like, because he cared about his brand and he cared about his
Yeah.
ravers, and he put himself in. So someone like me wouldn't necessarily hear or see the stories that someone like Terry did, partly because of where he was and who he was, but partly because a little bit of, I think he thrived on that a little. Oh, look at the films he's made and what he's done since. That's been a big chunk of who he is and what he does. So um, he probably saw more than your average, I would imagine, just by default. But yeah, it's not to say it wasn't about. But I wouldn't want everyone to think it was like the Wild West all the time because it wasn't. It was just a scene built on council estate kids that had nothing, you know. And when they all get together, they let off, and it don't mean they're trouble. They're just, it's
Humans.
just, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm.
There's yeah.
Yeah.
But then obviously that spread into the middle classes, the upper classes, and everyone. I'm not saying it was exclusive for people with no money, but I think the common denominator with all of us was it was somewhere to go, just fucking let off your energy. And yeah, the faster the music got, the more the energy seemed to grow. But yeah,
Yeah, man. So let's get back to your career. Like you've gone back to Rinse FM because
yeah.
you worked for Rinse. Then how long was the period where you weren't working for Rinse?
So I DJ'd on Rinse and from '99 I got the show. So I'd known Genius and Slimsy, the guys that run it back then. I've known them since when they turned the station on. Because back then, people used to try and say that all us pirates were against each other and we was all fighting with each. Majority of us were friends, so I've known them for years. So when I started playing garage, Rinse had switched over to start playing more garage. I've rung up Genius, said, I've got a show. He gave me a show, and that was the start of it. And then over the course of the first year, I progressed from being a DJ into running the station. Like the garage and grime thing was taking off for some of the guys that were at the top of the radio. So I just kind of fell into running it. I never got asked. I just ended up being like, one day I'm the station manager. And sorry, my phone keeps bloody ringing. And so that was the start of me being so involved with Rids. And through that period there, grime started to explode. Dizzy Rascal's career took off, and that the whole world, once his career took off, the whole world started looking at him, where he'd come from, tracing back, Rinse FM. So grime was starting to become a thing, and it was this new wave of young kids that were built from nothing, spitting about reality, talking about people being fucking mugged on their street or shot or stabbed. And it was, I guess it was our version, the first version of gangster rap, American gangster rap. There was spoke of, pardon me, true life experience of these youngsters that grown up around East London, South London, North, West, wherever. This was their reality, and they were talking about it on the microphone. So it kind of took the world a bit by storm, but it was a really important time in the evolution of dance music for the UK, most definitely. And Rinse were in the fucking thick of it. So I was still doing I would go on there and still play jungle and do the old school shows and do a little garage show here and now. But my focus at that time was I ran the station. That was my job. And I took it mad serious. Genius at the time, who was the owner, he was producing for a crew called Pay As You Go Cartel, who were like a big grime crew, had a couple of chart hits and whatnot. So he was the DJ producer of that. So his career was doing that, and we'd started record labels and we'd started our own distribution. So the radio had started to become like the heartbeat. We pushed everything through it, but we needed to work out how we could fucking earn money within
Yeah.
this illegal thing. You know, the radio can't earn, you can put adverts on and stuff, but the radio costs a fortune to run. So we started to learn how to monetize what we were doing because it was becoming popular. So the first period at Ritz up until I left there December 2005 was it was the first time I'd learned really the behind the scenes stuff. Like up till then, I've just been very like being a DJ, helping mates run the radio that weren't really a real business. It was just us lot fucking about. Now this was like dealing with record companies and proper stuff. And because I was running the radio, I was seeing how other DJs pushed themselves and believe in themselves and how they were coming to me. And like I didn't do none of that when I was a DJ. I used to think like I'll be DJing in my bedroom and Simon Cowell or the X Factor of fucking jungle is going to walk past and say, "No way, he's a star in that bedroom
Yeah.
window. We
Yeah.
need to take," fuck, I don't know what I was thinking. So it gave me, it was and it also taught me how to be a boss. And what I mean by that was the buck stopped with me. So if people needed to be hired, fired, whatever, it don't mean you have to be horrible, but I had to learn how to do that. So I learned how to, I guess, be a boss of some sort. You know what I mean? I'm not saying I was the boss of bosses, but
Yeah.
I'd never done anything like that before. I had to take control of situations, and it was a very hostile time. Like that period we were talking about with the violence. This is that period.
Yeah.
I was in the fucking thick of it. Like all the crews, all the MCs, all the street stuff. Rinse FM and me as the manager and the guys that run the radio around us. We was in the thick of some bad fucking shit, but I had to stand up today, even though I'm not a violent person and I don't come from a background of shooting guns and fucking running around like a lunatic. I come from a pretty fucking hard background and I can stand my ground when I have to. But I learned how to work with these people, but on my level, like on a strong and stern, but friendly. You ain't got to be mad aggressive. And if you don't fucking do this, I'm going to smash your face. You haven't got to be like that. You can. So I think my journey on that journey was I taught the youngsters some stuff about you don't have to be mad hostile. You can be nice but you can get the job done and all. But I also learned how to toughen up and how to not be a pushover and a walkover so much. So at the end of that, Rins were first talking about getting their license. Like obviously we was illegal at them times, and I didn't necessarily want or believe in that. I liked the pirate life and I didn't trust major record labels and stations, the people we would have to be involved in. I didn't really get that and I didn't understand it and I didn't like it. So, but Genius as the owner, he had a vision and he started working with other people around that time. And truth be told, I'd started to neglect what I was doing because I felt like I was being pushed out. But really, it was a double-edged sword because I wasn't doing the roles I was meant to be doing properly. They started being assigned because they still needed to be done. So I'm thinking other people are doing them. I'm being pushed out. It was because I weren't doing my fucking job properly in the first place. So
Yeah.
it was like, but it was a changing time for Rinse. They were going from pirate to legal to where they've gone since, which is like somewhere in between Radio 1 and a pirate is Rinse. They service the underground and the overground. A bit like my football club, West Ham, somewhere in the middle. So me and Genius and a guy called Gary, who are my brothers, G and Gary, my brothers, we run the company Rinse FM, which was called Static Media Limited back then. I did the illegal radio stuff. Genius brought talent to the table, producers, opportunities, and Gary was like the organisation and the brains. He run the labels and the distribution and all of that sort of stuff. By the end of 2005, I'd kind of come to the end of it. I didn't really like what I was doing, and me and Genius are pretty fucking hot-headed, so we called a meeting. So there's me, G, and Gary in an office, which don't look too dissimilar from your background there. It looked a bit like records on the wall and all of that. And we've had a massive row, and Gary's got in between us. Me and Genius want to fucking kill each other.
Jesus.
Yeah, the room got smashed up, the door come off the engine. It was a real, yeah. So, and then I left Rinse. Yeah, I fuck Rinse. I don't fuck off all years. You're all cunts. I don't want nothing to do with you. So it was a bit like that. And Genius is like, yeah, well, fucking you ain't welcome, you fucking prick. It was a lot of that, a lot of testosterone flying around. And then we didn't talk for a little while. But in the meantime, through doing Rinse, I'd met Eastman and Funky Flirt, who were Eastman owns Call FM. Funky Flirt was sort of running it and helping Eastman with the everyday runnings. So Rinse FM and Call FM used to share a roof where we'd put our transmitters. We'd have one aerial, Call come off one side, Rinse come off the other side. So through doing the roof, I'd got to know Eastman and Flirt. And at that time, I didn't know anybody in jungle or drum and bass. Nobody. So we're talking now 2005. So it ain't that long ago. I knew nobody. Not all, like, I knew Logan D. Fucking hell. No one. No one. I've said no one about a million times. I think you get the gist. I knew no one. So, but I knew Eastman and Flirt from doing the roof from. So I phoned up Eastman, and I knew that he'd listened to me do my jungle shows on Rids. And I said to East, look, I've left Rids. I don't want to run the station. I don't want anything to do with the management, but is there any chance I could get a show on Call? Now, that was my lifelong ambition and dream, to be a DJ on Call, albeit on the era that I was a listener, but he said to me, yeah, mate, fucking, when do you want to start? I couldn't believe it, Steve. I could not. I mean, I can still remember, I was a postman at the time. I can remember I was sitting at the top of fucking Lays Avenue by the post box. It was about 9:15 on a Monday morning. I remember, do you know what I mean? It was just meant so much. So I got my show on Call. And for the next 5 years, me and Genius ended up becoming friends again. And now we're like fucking brothers. But sometimes you need to go through that with people to know where you both stand. You know what I mean? In life.
Yeah.
So I got my show on Call. Come on now. My DJ name before that was DJ Doug's. I wasn't Uncle Doug's. I was DJ Doug's, which is a shit name. It means nothing. It's just an abbreviation of my last name. No one ever remembered it ever. So while I was on Rinse, some of the younger DJs, a guy called DJ Frenzy, started calling me Uncle, and some of the others. So when I joined Call, because it was the first time I'd ever done anything for me, I was joining them as a DJ to try and fucking get somewhere. For the first time in my life properly, I changed my name to Uncle Doug's because I thought, I'm playing old school music. Uncle makes you sound like you're an authority of some sort, a bit older. So I changed it to Uncle Doug's. And do you know, it's weird because I never realised how much is in a name. Like the uncle bit on the start, they never forget my name. They might not know me or whatever, but when I say Uncle Doug's, people just, I don't know. The Doug's bit, because it doesn't mean fuck all. They go, ducks, duck, what, like a duck? What, quack, quack? But Uncle Doug's, they might not get the Doug's bit, but the uncle bit sticks in people's minds. So it started on Call. I was an unknown DJ. I mean, I'd been on the radio for years, but no one gave a shit about me. I wasn't getting gigs or anything like that. And I did my first show on Call, and straight away, like I said earlier, the listeners just took to me. The long term, the people that I've been hearing getting shouts out, Trevor Sevenoaks, Kelly in Harlow, fuck it, all these people, JB in Tottenham, Rampage, they're now messaging me, and I'm fucking like reading
Oh,
their
wow.
shit.
So you recognize them from the
Oh,
old
mate. Oh,
shows?
yeah, all the listeners were famous because we're all such cool fans. we know they're not, you know, we don't even know these people, but they're as famous as the DJs. So now they're messaging me. I'm giving it. I'm saying on the mic like sounds like Uncle Doug's Cool FM. Can't believe I'm even sounding there. Like, big up Rampage locked in. Shout out to JB and Tom. Brother, fucking unbelievable stuff.
Awesome.
So yeah, so luckily, and yeah, well, luckily, I don't know if it's luck or whatever, but the listeners and the cool DJs and whatnot just took me in straight away like I'd been there forever. I think because of what I played, how I played it, and the way I portrayed myself. And like I said earlier, I wasn't some fraud that had bought a load of records off eBay and, you know, I'm chancing my arm because I could get a show on call. I loved it, and they knew how much. Like I could tell them more about call than they fucking knew. So
Yeah.
that was the start of it. And gradually I started to get, you know, room 10, you know, last set in room 10 in the broom cupboard, and started to get the odd little gig here and there and whatnot. And over that 5 or 6 years, I didn't really start to get the gigs or the money that could make me. I was a postman at the time. I couldn't leave work, but when I was going out to clubs, not necessarily to play, I was noticing like I would like the first time I met Jumping Jack Frost, he was gassed to meet me because he'd been hearing all this stuff. Uncle Doug's, how can I not know this geezer? Everyone keeps fucking telling me about this geezer. Plays old school, knows all the fucking Peter stories. And when he met me, I'm like, fucking, oh, it's Jumping Jack Frost. I'm looking at this big Don from when I was a kid. He's like, bruv, fucking your uncle. Oh, mate, I can't believe I've met you, brother. And like, I'm trying to like act normal and take these things, mate. It's mind blowing. Like, you're
Yeah.
meeting your heroes and they're treating you like a someone. It fucking freaks you out badly. But it also let me know that, like, I'm getting somewhere. You know what I mean? I am getting, this is happening. Like, I might not be the big name and I might not be getting any gigs, but I'm getting around people that matter, and like all of a sudden I'm mattering to them. That was the first things I started when I met MCGQ. Same thing happened. He's like, bruv, I keep hearing your name, bruv. Like, do your thing, fam. Like, you're fucking, I keep hearing your name. Like, it's big MCGQ. Like, I fucking know his
Yeah.
lyrics. I'm watching him, paid to watch him and Jumping Jack Frost a million times in my life. And now they're telling me, like, you're doing your thing, bruv. Like, we're hearing your name. Keep going, man. And I'm like,
Fuck.
that gives you the
How did you
power, you
sleep
know?
when you went home? You're probably just buzzing from that.
Mate, I'm telling you, fucking hell.
Yeah.
So the Cool FM journey, which was my springboard and my platform to everything. Everything I'd learned before, I brought into play through the Cool bit. And even though I didn't leave Cool as a big DJ or, you know, earning the money that I needed to earn to be a DJ that needs to pay for fucking shit in his real life,
Yeah.
it gave me everything. And I'll never, ever be able to repay Eastman for, and Susie, his missus, because she's they're the team. Them two there, by giving me that show, that was the start of the change of my life. Like, literally, it, people started to take me serious, and I wasn't just some geezer that was trying to get somewhere. I'm on Call FM. You've got somewhere at that point, and people look at you a bit differently. Then what happened was, in the meantime, in the background, Rinse FM had got their license, and they were now a legal London radio station playing all of the strands of dance music, but the underground stuff. So Genius rang me up and he was like, we need someone to do a rave history show. And obviously he could have asked anyone, because at the time, Rinse was like, fucking, when they got their license, it was huge news,
Yeah.
huge fucking, it's across all the scenes. He could have rung up anyone and asked them and they would have took the show. But he rang and he said to me, Douglas, look, I know you ain't the biggest fucking name, but I know that you know what you're talking about. I know that you care. And I know that you're going to do it properly. And I want someone to, and I, you know that I'll do it well. So I want you to do this show. So I wanted to do 3 hours. I wanted 2 hours of music and an hour to interview. But before, like, you got to think at that time, I'd already had my fingers burnt over Rinse. I'm now on Call FM. And even though I weren't going anywhere fast, I didn't know what the future held anyway. So
Big
I
risk.
said to him, look, can I have 24 hours to think about it? And like, even though it's this big legal station and everyone's going mad and you've got all the biggest names and like, I don't, so obviously the first person I talked to is Sarah, and she's like, look, Eastman will understand. Like, he's gonna understand. So then I rung up Gary, who was Static Media. I just spoke of, the one who got in between me and G. Gary's my go-to guy. If I've got anything in my life that I need, advice because he's very straight down the line and honest, and he don't mind telling me home truths. And usually he's fucking right. It pisses me right off. But so I rang him up and he said the same. Look, this is try not to move that way or that way in life, but this is an upwards. You've got to do it. If you don't, you're mad. And then I rang up Eastman and he said to me, bruv, he didn't say bruv because he don't talk like that. He said, I'm going to be sad to lose you because you're one of the listeners' favourites. Your show's fucking huge and I love you being on the radio and it's going to be a mad loss for us. But if you don't do this, you're a fucking idiot. So
Shit.
that was it. Yeah. So I respect him for that, you
What a
know.
legend.
He could have said, bruv, if you leave, you're fucking snide. What, we give you all this opportunity and you're going to fuck off now that you're
Yeah.
popular.
Yeah.
But he didn't. And so the next day I rang up Genius and, you know, at that time, obviously I didn't know where it was going to take me and how it was going to go. I rang up Genius, said, yeah, I'm ready to go. I've got to do one more show on call and then we'll start the show the following week. So I did my last show on call, mate. Loads of the cool artists come up there. They gave speeches about me. Eastman's crying on the mic, giving the speech about what I mean to the radio and fucking. I'm getting choked up now, but so that was the end of the call era. But when I announced that I'd got the show on Rinse, fucking hell, mate, it was like I can't even describe how big the news was because what it was at the time. I got the first ever legal daytime radio show that was about our scene, like about the history of rave, drum and bass, jungle. You know, house. No one had ever had that. There'd been these shows in the middle of the night on Kiss FM and Radio One, and you know, but there was never like a daytime, prime time, 3 hour. You ain't got like I could talk for. I did Goldie and Fabio Groove when I interviewed them. 3 hour interviews. Like you can't go and do that on Radio One or any of the others. So it was a real breath of fresh air. And what was beautiful in the start, everybody from all the scenes and all the stations, Scream, Mr. Jam, people I didn't even fucking know, all got behind it and raised up this thing because it was important for the culture. And so what it done for me was I went to bed one day and I was Uncle Doug's on call. It was like this DJ that really knew his stuff and could out nerd you and could fucking play a good set on the radio. I woke up the next day and I was on Rinse FM and just a million doors opened for me. Like people, I was doing the same show the week before on call, but the week later, everyone cared. It was so, I mean, which isn't right in so many ways, but you take your chances, and if you get your
Yeah.
opportunities, you take. And that was that show, getting that show changed my life. That Run Can't Follow Friday show, fucking yeah. I mean, I'm getting emotional talking about it because, like, I don't know. Had that not have happened, I don't even know what would have happened, mate. Because I owned a record shop at that time, but we closed the shop down because no one bought records.
Yeah.
And I'd finished on the post office. I was in a crash, and I used it to get out. I got a payout from the post office, and the money had run out. And I'd gone back to work for 4 weeks. Yeah, I was with Sarah. We was living on fucking shirt buttons, right? Bad, like we was eating. I don't know if you have them in Australia, Coley noodles, 3 for £1. Just blocks of fucking chicken noodles.
Yeah.
Couldn't even,
Yeah.
no one knew. We never told anyone, but we had fuck all because we had this dream. But the dream had sort of started to become reality that I weren't going to be fucking being a DJ for a career. So I went back to work and I started working for a wine company delivering wine and champagne around London. And I fucking hated it. I absolutely hated it. And I got the phone call about Rinse on my 4th week doing this job. And literally, I started my show that Friday. By like the Tuesday, I'd already had like a bag of bookings come in. And like before, I was playing that for like £3 or £50, or if I was
Yeah.
lucky, I'd get £100, you know.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, like I'm getting people, they're asking me who my agent is and how much do you charge and what's it going to cost us to get you to come to. And I didn't know how to
You're
handle it.
like, I usually get told what I'm getting paid.
Yeah, well,
You know?
that's all I'd come from. Like,
Yeah.
and because I had a job before, I wasn't bothered about the money. But now, like, this was to become my job. I had to have a crash course in knowing your worth. And I'm still shit at it now. I'm still fucking rubbish. But luckily, I've got a beautiful, great agent, Nikki Archer, who looks after everything for me. But literally, I woke up one day and everyone cared. And it's a real, if this had happened in my teens or 20s, I probably would have fucked up. I'd have just been a dickhead thinking it's all normal because I've done all the shit jobs and I tried so hard to get somewhere. When it happened for me, I felt like I was ready. It goes back to what I was saying about building your foundation.
Yeah.
I was ready for it as a man, not just as a DJ, as an artist, as a person, as a human being. All of that coming at you, I can see. Like in the first year of doing my show, I was put up for a Sony award, like against people like Zoe Ball, Radio One Breakfast, and David Rodigan and fucking this one and that one. I got us. And I'm nominated for this other DJ fucking magazine award, and I'm up against best radio show. Me, EZ, Pete Tong, Julio Bashmore,
Holy
and stuff
shit.
like that. And
Yeah.
I'm like, 5 minutes ago, I was doing exactly the same thing. Nobody give a fuck. And now I'm like, just a world of opportunities. And this is fucking amazing. But I can see how either if you're maybe a bit younger or a bit naive, or you're just a prick, how it can just affect you and you can start thinking, I am the man. Because it can feel like
Yeah.
you can't do no wrong. Like I won't tell you who because he's my friend now and I don't want to make and he's still a promoter, so I don't want to make you sound like he was silly. But he phoned up somebody that we know because he didn't know me too well back then, and he said, "I want to book Doug's for a rave. What's he charging now?" Now at that time, right when I first got onto Rinse, I was advised to charge about 300 quid, right, at that time. So this is 2008. This was, no, 2012, sorry, 11, 12. My first fee, when people say to me, bruv, that's 300 quid, you'll get 300 quid out. So I'm just taking advice from people. I didn't know whether I was worth 100 quid, 300 quid, or 3 million quid. So the promoter has rung up my friend and said, I want to book Doug's. How much is he charging? What do you reckon I'm getting for? My mate went, probably about three. And he went, what, 3 grand? All right, let me just go and run it by the others, but that should be fine. So he's willing to pay me £3,000. Now, I could have, the promotion that he runs is something, I still work for him now, right? And my mate's saying to me, bro, take the fucking 3 grand. I'm saying no, because when he talks to other people and he
Yeah. He's
knows I'm
gonna.
getting for 300,
Yeah.
he's going to know I've took the piss out of him. He's never going to book me again. And I've told him this. Obviously, we're friends now, me and this promoter, and I've told him this story about how he nearly got it wrong. But yeah, but them little things there were just little things of like, I've entered if there's a big league,
Yeah.
I'm in the big league now. But it was almost like I spent all this time trying to get there, and then it happened almost
Yeah.
overnight. You know what I mean? It was just this one thing. And don't get me wrong, I took it serious and I run with it and I work fucking hard. I'm relentless at doing this music thing. But sometimes you get chances in life and you got to just give them your all. And that there was my fucking chance. And, you know, when I interviewed Slipmate, he was my first guest on my first show. I'd never interviewed anyone in my life. I'd never done that. But I thought I've been given this platform. I could play the music that we all love. Like I've done shows like 100% 92 B-sides for 3 hours on a legal radio station. I've got this platform to educate people on not
Yeah.
just the classics, but the whole culture. And then I've got the fucking platform where I can ring up Slipmat and say, mate, come and ask him all the nerdy questions that I can't ask him normally for an audience to enjoy. And truth be told, the music and the way I do my show, I'm all excited and all that. It's a big chunk of it. But the making of the show in the start was the interviews. Like once that ball started rolling, the first few I had was Slipmat, friends of mine. After that, like Goldie came to me. I didn't know Goldie. He came to me and asked me to do his interview. Zinc asked me to do his interview. Like it's mad. But the first
Because
few of
they
my
because they know that you know what you're doing. You know that
yeah,
you
because
know your
I do mad
history
ring.
and that.
I start bringing up their teachers' names and stuff like that from when I was in school. And
Yeah.
so, but the first few were my friends, Slipmat, Nicky Black Market, Brocky and Det, God rest his soul, Eamon Liquid, who just passed away recently, my fucking brother. Who else? Anyway, a few like that. But the first sort of 8 to 10, they went so well. And this was like, it wasn't even like a viral era. Twitter helped. Like, Twitter was brand new at that time. And me retweeting people's shouts, it spread the popularity. I was getting like On some shows, I was getting like 2,000 shouts in the early days through Twitter and retweeting them all. So to people that are looking in, they're thinking, fucking hell, this guy's got something good going on here.
Yeah.
And it just sort of spread like wildfire. All of these things in the first couple of years were going on. So yeah, your Goldies and people like that, they're listening to me interview their friends and thinking, fucking hell, need to get on this show. So it just sort of spiraled from there on to where it is now, you know. And I've took my chances, and I've rode this thing along, and I've learned the hard way that I couldn't just be an old school DJ. I've become like I guess a classics. So if you come and see me in a club, I'll play everything from the jungle era up to some not modern stuff, but the modern like
Yeah.
bricks don't roll. I will use that as a double drop over original nutter to give it more energy or something in a rave, and I'll play loads of things at the same time. So I'm trying to almost like educate, but stay relevant at the same time in a club. But with my radio show, that's my time to fucking pretend I'm 18 with a load of people that pretend they're 18 that are listening, with a load of people that are 18 that are willing to learn, and
Yeah.
just have a real good time for 3 hours every Friday. You know, I sing over the music out of tune. I give shouts out over vocals. I fucking talk too much. And for some people, it's probably the worst radio ever. But for the people that love it, it's where we come from. It's pirate radio in a modern form on a legal radio station. And, you know, God bless Cool FM for giving me everything. God bless Rinse. I mean, I'm not even a God person, but whoever looks after us, bless them for giving me Cool FM in my life and Rinse FM to all the stuff I learned from Cool. I can now share it with listeners and viewers. And yeah, I'm blessed, man. I'm fucking blessed.
Mate, like you're a like one thing I've learned about since doing this podcast, right, is I've interviewed some people that are like big stars, and you just you think, oh, they were in the right place at the right time, you know, the music was blowing up and they kind of rode the wave.
Yeah.
But when you actually get down to it and you listen to their story and that, they've worked so hard. Like even you now, like I'm no one in Australia, like, and you're sitting talking to me for like a couple of hours about your career and that. Like that's the shit that people don't understand, that successful people do. They work really hard. And
Do you know what? I just never lost a love for it either, Steve. Like, do you know what it is for me? You're willing to sit here and talk to me about me and about my journey, but about all the things I love, like, I don't understand why people wouldn't want to sit and
yeah,
talk about, like, you obviously love the scene. I love the scene. We've got a common bond through the video where we've met. And now we're sitting here. I know it's my story that's sort of guiding us, but it's a story of the scene and what it means
yeah,
to not just me, to all the people that are watching this that love it, that get it. I'm just lucky enough that I've got a platform to be able to. That look, you said it earlier about the long journey and about the thing that resonate. I think one of us said it, but I think a lot of my making has been that for listeners, I don't seem, or for viewers, or for whatever, ravers even. I'm not like one of them untouchable DJs that you can't really, you know, you don't really know their story and that, and they've just always been there. People have seen me come. I've stood on the dance floor taking pills with the same people that are now taking pills to me.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And they've watched me, they've listened to me, they've heard my stories, of course, because I don't shut up. But I think I resonate more than the wave of old school DJs that we all look up to, me included. I think I said earlier about being an up and coming old school DJ. It shouldn't really be a thing. But I think where I've worked my way in is that the viewers, the listeners, and the ravers get me. But also, I've never been scared to show people love. So as I've gone on my journey and met the people, I show them genuine love, and it ain't because I want anything, I need anything out of it. I don't need fuck all out of any of them, but my love is real, and I'll tell them, and I'll
yeah,
give them reasons why I love them. So I just think all of them things together gives me an acceptance by the viewer or the listener that he's one of us. Because I would rather spend my time around the people on the dance floor than in the green room a lot of the time, because it's just a load of people talking about how great they are usually in a green room.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I feel more at home with the listeners than with the artists a lot of the time. So that gives me that. But when I'm with the artist, like I can hold my own with them, and I love them, and I don't. My ego doesn't get in the way of me saying to someone, bruv, I fucking love you. You're the reason why I do. You and all you lot are why I'm. And some of them, nah, Doug's, but you're this and you do. And I say, no, you'll never get it. Don't matter how big my name is perceived, you'll always be bigger than me to me. Always. Don't
Yeah.
matter if you're no one. Like there's MCs and DJs that I could name that your listeners and viewers wouldn't know. They're in my mind, they're always going to be bigger than me and better than me and superior to me. And people say, don't fucking say it. But I mean it in a way of like, that's out of respect.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to ever be like, how can you be bigger than your heroes? That's when you start being a prick.
Yeah,
You know?
true. That's right.
When you start believing your own hype, then you become one of them. And
Yeah.
I always wanted to not be one of them. Like I met them all along the way. I've met the one of them's that they're pricks. And I've met your fucking lovely ones. And I've always thought if ever I get my chance, I'll try and be one of them lovely ones that when people walk away, they go, do you know what? Doug's is fucking safe. He's like one of us. Instead of being that, can I have a photo? Fuck off. I've
Yeah.
never
Yeah.
ever, I've never said no to no one for anything. You know, sometimes I'm in a rush and I have to say to people, look, I can't stop quick, boom, boom, love, boom, give them the fucking
Yeah.
prayer hands off. But I never tell people to fuck off or I ain't got time. Never, ever. And I've been around artists that have done it. And I'm like, it blows my mind. You're in such a privileged position and someone can love you for 30 years and you're going to be rude to them because they've
Yeah.
asked you for a photo. You've just broke their heart. So
Mate,
yeah,
they say that like guys that I know in Australia who've worked in the music industry like their whole life, they'll say like Carl Cox come over in like 1995,
yeah.
met them one time, came back in like 2005, saw them across the room, walked over and like remembered their name, shook their
See what
hand,
I mean?
made them feel so special.
Yeah. Because we all know as punters, like this is what people forget when they become artists. They start believing in their own bollocks and thinking that they're all Saturday night superstars. They don't, when I walk in Tesco's, they don't have to shut Tesco's because I'm so famous. People know me in a club that's playing my music on a Saturday night, so I never get it twisted. But some people do, right? They think that
Yeah.
they're this fucking superstar. And I've just never understood, like, why you would believe your own hype for the start. And even when you become a Carl Cox, what better feeling is there in life to be a nice version of Carl Cox?
Yeah.
Like, you give that person, because we all know what it meant. When I've met whoever for the first time, I know what I felt. And my wife always says, and her dad, God bless him, Pugs, instilled this in her. People forget a lot of stuff in life, but you never forget how you made to feel, right? If someone makes you feel bad when you first meet them, when they make you feel good, you'll never forget that first impression. It lasts forever. So I try to be like the people that I've met myself when I've walked away from them and I've been like, Nicky Black Market,
What
bro,
a legend. Yeah.
fucking what a safe guy, man. Fucking so, or I won't say insert name here, what a prick. You
Yeah.
know, I don't
Yeah.
want to be like him. And most people don't get the chance to become like their heroes. But I've been blessed and I've had this ride that's took me up to be alongside all these people. And I've always, I mean, I'm like it as a person. I try to be a nice person, but I just don't get that putting on a pair of headphones and playing some fucking records in a club makes you think that you're like some fucking
God.
unapproachable. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it blows. Like, and look, if you're Tiesto or Carl Cox and that, maybe I'd get it a little bit more. I'm talking about fucking Joe Bloggs, who plays in fucking the Dog and Duck pub once a month. You know what I mean? To fucking 30 people. It blows my mind. So yeah, I've always kept it that I just like meeting people, and I'm in a privileged position where when I get to meet people now, they're usually fucking really nice to me because of what I've done or who I am and all that. So the hard thing of that is it's hard to find friends sometimes because you meet people that you like and people want a guest list and they want to get in free and they want to hang about you. So that's another, like, knowing your worth is learning. Luckily I've got older friends as well, but you want new people in your life as well. And, I've kissed a few frogs along the way and made some mistakes, and you let people in and you realize that they've got ulterior motives or they get jealous because they're happy for you. Then they meet you. Then you bring them into a little bit of your world. Then they get jealous of Yeah, because or you don't do something for them and they get
Yeah,
so it's all like weird learning processes of things that you don't think about, you know? But
yeah,
I guess that's growing as a human, not as just as a DJ. But yeah, there's all different sides to this life that I never sort of thought about. But the main thing I keep in mind is like I'm fucking blessed to do what I do. I wake up in the morning and I do what I love. And, you know, that's not many people, I guess, in life get that. So that's all I'm already winning. I've got a lovely wife and beautiful fucking friends. And my job is other people's enjoyment. Like, why would I have the arsehole? Why would I not want to talk to
yeah,
people? Why would I want to be rude to someone who's put a little bit of time and effort into so I can have this life? So yeah, for me, I'm just like I'm super humble, and I try to be, and I try to just I don't know, bruv. Like I'm that guy, you know, the cleaner in the room is as important as the hotel's manager that you're staying in. We're all just fucking, we're all people at the end of the day. You're either a prick or you're not. It's that simple. If you're not, then you're on the team. If you're a prick, I don't really need that. And the older I get, the more I live by that.
yeah. Awesome,
Yeah.
mate. I've got some quick fire questions.
Would you
First,
mind if we just pause this for 1 sec so I can have a wee?
yeah, yeah. Go for it.
Is that all right? Can we
All
edit
right.
that bit? Well, you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
wait for me to have a wee, guys, if you want to wait. I'll be 2 minutes. Sorry, mate. Right, let's go, mate.
All right, ready?
Via.
This is probably going to be too hard to answer, but all-time jungle anthem. Have you got one?
Um, you know, that's the hard.
It's
That's like
so
the difference
hard,
between
hey?
drum and bass. Do you know what? The record that I would say is my most. Are you going to ask me what my favourite record is later on down the line, or is this the one record?
No, that's not just that one.
All right. The record I would say is probably the most influential for me. That kind of led me towards jungle, albeit it was a '91 tune. Was Bug Khan and the Plastic Jam, made in 2 minutes. It's a hardcore record with a rap over it, but yeah, if you don't know it, guys, look it
I
up
have
and
to
have a
look it
listen
up.
to it. Yeah, but
Yeah.
that there, uh, oh mate, I just remember as a 16-year-old learning every word to it and standing on the dance floor singing it back to the DJ like I was doing a PA of it to them. And yeah, when I play it, I mean, I've become friends with the guy who made it and raps on it nowadays. He's a really good friend of mine, Jimmy Lowe. He actually run Labello Blanco Records and then Public Demand. That was him as well, the big garage label. But he's the rapper and the singer on that, and his sister. And yeah, every time I hear it, man, it just fucking takes me back to being 16. And I guess that it was one of the first records I learned to mix. And so yeah, Bug Khan and the Plus. Sorry, man, it's meant to be a quick fire round, isn't it? Fucking murder, isn't I?
No, that's
Sorry.
good. Favorite MC?
To listen to or to work with?
Either or.
Um, fuck me, man. How'd you, is I got
Bloody
to answer all
hard.
the others. Do you
Yeah,
know
yeah.
what? Currently, look, I'll tell you what. My favourites were the Ragga Twins and Navigator. They really like when that jungle thing burst. They were my favourites. I mean, I loved all the MCs. MCs, I would be an MC rather than a DJ if I could MC. I'm fascinated by MC culture. I always have been. I I love it. But in this modern era, I mean, I get paired up with Shabba quite a bit these days, and I just think the style that I play now, I play quite quick and quite aggressive in how I mix and play. His style suits that because he's an energetic MC. So when we get it right, when I drop him in right, I just watch the fucking rave lift up. So, but then outside of that, I mean, to listen to Heartless Crew from the garage world, when I listen to them guys, I mean, it's sad because there was three of them and now there's only two of them. Mighty Mo does his own thing now, so it's not the same anymore. But the golden era of Heartless Crew, when it comes to vibes, fucking hell, mate. Radio, rave, can't wherever they were there, the vibes masters. So yeah, but between the Ragga Twins and Navigator for my originals, Shabba D for nowadays, and Heartless Crew for when me and Sarah in the car we want to sing along.
Hang on. Most underrated jungle producer.
Potential bad boy. I only say that because he's not even like he's an unknown but I say that because Potential Bad Boy for me is the most consistent, unwatered down jungle producer from he was one of the ones that brought jungle to the table in the start, and he's still making proper jungle now. He's had ups and downs in his career and popularity, I guess, along the way, but he's always made good quality fucking jungle music. And like I say, the first jungle records I bought were IB for Records, Potential Bad Boy back then in the 91. And I was still, playing his music and loving what he does nowadays. But I have to give a special shout out to Conganati as well, Rebel MC. Always been like, when you want the unfiltered, unwatered jungle, mate, that's all he does. So he has to get a special mention as well. But underrated, I just think Potential's never got the love that he should have got for all what he's done. Even though he's a known name, he deserves to be up there with the Shy FXs and them.
Funny, I was listening to a podcast with DJ Hype today, and he actually mentioned him as well.
There you go.
Saying he was like underrated.
Yeah, man.
Vinyl or USB? Which one's best?
I don't know. I don't want to say if there's a best. For learning on, I think vinyl. But for me in this modern era, just how I like to play, I can't play records quick enough for how I like to play. And I know some people, bruv, they're not meant to be playing. You're meant to play a bit and then roll it out, mix it. And for me personally, in this era, 2025, USB all day long. Like,
Yeah.
I love the records, but yeah, it's not for me anymore.
Not very good when you're a traveling DJ, that's for sure.
Definitely.
What's the best rave you've ever played?
Are we talking festivals or as well, or just across the board, or just a rave?
Either or.
I mean, the set that the little Vibina things that we run, I love them. We didn't know they were going to end up like we were on our 12th year now. When we did the first one, we didn't know if it'd work. We didn't know how popular it would be. Playing at them, getting to play like proper underground jungle for people like me that are nerds, but they've also got a lot of vibes in them. They're special because of what they are. But if I had to pick one set out, I think it was 2018 or 2019, Boomtown, me and Skibbity. And obviously he's not with us anymore. So that makes that a bit of a special one for that. But just, we played in the Hidden Woods and I don't know this for fact, but I've been told it's a forest basically with a beautiful stage. There's all lights hit all around the forest. It's a fucking stunning stage to play on and look out. And they tell me that when it's busy, there's 10,000 in there. But the set that I played that year was the last set on the Thursday night, which is the first night of the festival. It's the last stage that's open. So the whole festival comes here. So according to sources, there's maybe 20, 30,000 people all around the outside of this forest. And before I was playing, I bumped into Skibber on the way. We was on our way to the festival. We walked in together. And like, he's big MC Skibbity at the end of the day. He's the fucking, he is. If there's a king of the MC thing in our world, he was it and he is still it. He's a void that's never, ever, ever going to be filled when he died, mate. The scene has never, ever recovered from Skibber's death. A lot of people have passed away now and it's sad and all of that, of course. Skibber's death affected things differently. Still to this day, in the raves, he's missed badly. So, and he weren't even my favourite MC, but he's the greatest. He's the greatest of all time, in my opinion. But anyway, we're walking into the festival and I'm saying, where you playing, Skibbs? He's doing this stage. I said, oh, bloody, I'm doing this one and all that. I said, last set, blah, blah, blah. He's like, all right, cool. I'll see you a bit later on, innit? And I just thought, man, I'll see you later in the festival. So I'll go around. I'm just about to start. Now, I don't mind doing my own microphone these days. Not like the old days when I used to come up with rashes and get all nervous. But look, you're looking at, and there's like fucking thousands of people looking back at you. I'm not an MC. I can do a bit of like, yo, what's happening, Boomtown? Make some fucking noise. I can do all that, but it ain't like having Skibbity on the mic for you, is it? So I was just about to do my intro and I just behind me, 1, 2, turn around and he's setting his mic up and he come out on stage and bruv, we fucking demolished it. It was just, it just, the set went really well. Right at the end, I got like a little medley thing I do with a bit of Bob Marley and a bit of this, get everyone singing, and he really got in the vibe of that. And I've just got some videos and photos and memories of that night. Obviously, he passed away, and he's a hero of mine, and as a good friend of mine. He's my friend, you know what I mean, as well. But it just felt like that was fucking special, that one, because none of it was really meant to happen. It was organic. He just appeared. I just heard him, and I looked around and he's there, and he come on, and I played a bit of a different set to what I was gonna, because he was on the mic for me. But the last 5 or 6 tunes, the Bob Marley stuff, and he's got all the crowd singing and all that. It was just fucking special, man. Real special.
Wicked. Mate, last one. Dream back-to-back set. You've probably done them all now anyway, but like anyone that you just love to go back to
No,
back with.
yeah. I mean, I've been fortunate enough to do them with, mate, Randall, RIP. Done I've done a 6-hour back to back with Randall. Fuck me, you know what I mean? I've, so, and I've been lucky enough to do it with everyone. But it might sound weird. It might sound corny. I'd like to do a back to back with a Wiggo, if you're honest with me. She don't DJ. She's never mixed a tune in her life. But I get the feeling, if we give her some secret tuition and try and got her confidence up, if me and her went out and done a rave together, it would probably be the funniest and most memorable set of my life. So I can't think of any fucking DJ. I mean, maybe EZ. Do you know what it is? I'd want someone that's fucking 100 mile an hour that can,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
like, yeah, because of how I like to DJ now. Like, a lot of the times I go back to back with people that are my heroes, and I'll do my 3 tunes or 5 tunes in about 30 seconds, and then they'll play 3 records properly, you know what I mean? And it'll take
yeah,
10 minutes, and I just feel like when I'm doing a back to back, I'm always standing there waiting to go on, and then I have my go and it's over in a flash. So now I've got it to where we do 10 or 15. If I do a back to back, I do it in minutes. Like, we'll do 10 minutes
yeah,
each,
yeah.
because then I can do my thing with it. But yeah, just funny thing. I mean, sorry, mate. It's meant to be quick fire questions, isn't it? I've never really had a favourite DJ. Like, I've always followed the MCs, strangely. But even when I started out as a raver, I never followed a DJ. I never checked a DJ. Like, I never looked at a flyer and thought, we'll go here because of him. I guess the only one I've ever really showed a bit of attention to was DJ Hype around 94, when he come into the jungle thing. Got his first booking at Jungle Fever. I followed him for a little while because he brought the scratching. It was a little bit different, and he had a different style. But I've never really had a favourite DJ or anyone that I just wanted to be friends with, and I wanted to be like all of them. I wanted to be around them all. But I never. And the ones that are the dons, I've been fortunate enough to do it. I mean, EZ, just because he's very quick, and I still watch him sometimes. I'm not actually sure what he's doing.
Yeah, that's cool, eh?
And I can stand next to him and watch him, and I don't really know sometimes how he's making what he's doing happen. So that there, that's like, they say, what's that saying around? You should just surround yourself with intelligent people, because if you're the most intelligent person in the room, you're always going to be stupid. Something
Yeah,
like along the lines. And it's like that with DJing. Like, if I did a back to back with anyone, I would want someone to blow me off the fucking deck, so I don't know what they've done, because then it makes me want to do that.
got to lift your game. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, yeah, I guess Sarah, just because I think it would be funny, but EZ, just because I think it would be a lesson learned for me and put me in my place a little bit, maybe.
Oh, bloody great answer. EZ. Unreal.
Nah, he's a fucking king, man. King.
Yeah.
He don't really play the music I like anymore. He's a bit off key with the selection these days, but he's in the wider world of music. But EZ on a garage set, bruv. Game over. Game over. That geezer could demolish a rave like no one else. When he does his all that shit,
Yeah, yeah.
we can all try to do that. But he did it firstly, and he does it the best, secondly. And when he gets it right with the right crowd, it's like someone's dropped a nuclear bomb on the venue, mate, when he
Yeah,
drops that
it's
baby straight in, it's in, game
un
over.
yeah, just
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. So I guess he's there just so that he could school me, to do the technical stuff. But yeah, I think that's
Mate,
that's it really.
that that is it. That's all the questions. as predicted.
That's
That
all the
was
words that exist in the world, I think.
that. Man, that was unreal. And I
Thank you.
honestly just thanks so much for doing it, mate. Like it's been surreal for me sitting looking at you on the computer because I'm so used to seeing you on the TV.
Do you know
It's
what? Right, stay there. Don't go anywhere because I'm
yeah,
going to get a bit of this on this week's edition because we can't. I don't normally film indoors, but let's turn this round. I'll get it on you. Right, hold on. So, guys, right, it's what's the day today, Steve?
Monday.
Monday. Yeah, it's on Monday, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's Monday, and ordinarily I don't film indoors, but I'm doing a podcast at the moment with my friend Steve, who is all the way over in Brisbane, Australia, right? And he watches the video, so I'm not going to be able to get him on it, like with my arm around his neck in a rave somewhere. So, what's Steve? Just do a little bit of intro. Tell people where they can find your podcast and how you found me and who you are. Let's get you on the camera.
All right, I'll be quick. It's called What's the BPM? It's a podcast about the history of the Australian dance music scene. But I do the odd international guest. So that's why I reached out to Doug's. Been bloody brilliant. It's I've just put it
12
on.
hours on the phone with each
Oh,
other.
this has been unreal, man. Yeah, it's just gone to YouTube, so I think there's only a few videos up, but it's on Apple, Spotify. Yeah, it was audio only, but now I'm doing the videos as well. So,
Wonderful. All right, I'll put the link under there. But guys, look, this is Steve. Take it from me, even though you can't see me. He's a fucking legend of a geezer.
oh, thanks,
And he's
man.
on the phone with the Pelicans, the halftime oranges, the wing. He knows all the slang. Right, I'll take the camera off you now because it's getting a bit weird, isn't it?